Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Yes, good morning. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall on this Wednesday. It's the 26th of November. It's a big hello to you listening on your local SEN track, RSN and SEN turf dials as we go right throughout Victoria and Western Australia in this first hour anyway into WA before Scotty and Goss take over with their breakfast show on SEN turf just after 6 o'clock. But it's great to have your company in WA once again in this first hour. Also, it's a big hello to you wherever you may be listening on the SEN app and RSN app on this Wednesday morning. Boy, it's a big show coming your way. The first part of the show will get set for one of the biggest days in country Victoria when it comes to a race meeting because we've got the Jericho happening on Sunday. So we'll catch up with Luke Cann, the CEO of the Warrnambool Racing Club, and Sean Ritchie, the star New Zealand trainer, is looking for his second Jericho on Sunday. So they'll kick off the show. We'll also try and catch up with Semi Clipperton just after 9 o'clock. He's that comeback jockey from Sydney. He's a very good hoop, Semi Clipperton. He won an Everest, of course, a few years back, and then he announced his retirement just over a year ago, but now he's making his comeback. And he's got a good story to tell, Semi Clipperton, so we'll catch up with him. Josh Rodder will join us from the MRC. It's a really good meeting, I reckon, at Caulfield on Saturday, highlighted by the Sipping Classic, but it's a terrific support program. Stakes racing everywhere you look. And we'll catch up with Josh with the final fields. That's all before 10 o'clock. And then we've got our WA segment from 10 to 10:30. Austin Gallardi is a great story. He'll be joining us. Josh Parr, who rode Overpass at Track Week there in WA yesterday, he'll catch up with us as well. I think Josh Parr is staying in WA throughout the week. And then Gary Hall Jr.'s got a lovely drive with Mr. Smarty in the Stratton Cup there on Friday night at Gloucester Park. So we'll catch up with the champion reinsman. Then we'll find you plenty of winners with bag of tips. And then in the final hour, we'll concentrate on greyhound racing's biggest night on Saturday night with the running of the Melbourne Cup, which is the holy grail for the sport of greyhound racing, and also the Bold Trees for the stayers. So Georgie Ferrugia and also Jason Adams will join me there for the weekly chase in the final hour of Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. 0499 736 736 to join our conversation. That's 0499 736 736. You might have a winner for us today. There's more provincial race meetings than metro race meetings on a Wednesday. With so much happening now over the weekend, you'll get to see, and with Friday night racing as well, you'll see a lot of these race meetings on a Wednesday going to provincial tracks. That's what we've got today. So if you've got a winner for us, let us know, 0499 736 736. And Giddy Up always brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. 7 minutes past 8, 7 minutes past 5 in WA, and 7 minutes past 7 in Queensland. We'll kick off our show with Luke Cann, of course, the CEO of the Warrnambool Racing Club, with the running of the Jericho once again on Sunday. Luke, good morning to you.
G'day, Gareth. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How big has this day become?
Oh, look, it has, and I've sort of probably gone on record I think this is the 8th running of the Jericho Cup, and very quickly it's become a must-do and a bucket list item. It's sort of, as you know, brought that 100 years of history of World War One and those stories in behind it. So very quickly grown into a feature event, and certainly something that we're very proud of down here at the club.
Yeah, and the race is inspired by, they had to hold a race meeting at the end of World War One in a bid to put off, of course, the enemy. And it was called the Jericho, and it was run over 3 miles through the desert sand. Bill the Bastard won. And then Bill Gibbons, who's been inspired by all this, put this race together at Warrnambool 8 years ago, was the first running. And, of course, it's only eligible to Australian and New Zealand horses. And not only has it been great for the racing game, I think it's been great for everyone regarding, of course, looking back at the history and respecting the history and also understanding what happened before us. And this helps, I think, educate a lot of people regarding the brave men and women, and also, of course, these horses that fought in these wars, but especially, of course, in World War One.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's I mean, that history, Bill's probably the one to talk, at length and in detail about that. But certainly on the day, it's a great mix of a great day out as Warrnambool and country racing venues put on, but it also, like you said, pays respect to, I suppose our returned servicemen and women on the day, and in particular the light horsemen and their horses, the Whalers, who, over 100 years ago performed those heroic deeds, that's for sure. On the day, we'll have things here. We'll have actually light horse, and they'll do a bayonet charge down the main straight on the day. And then obviously before the Jericho Cup, we'll have the ode and the last post and a minute's silence and, the rouse and national anthems of both Australia and New Zealand to pay our respects.
And it's one of my favourite days now of the year because of the significance of the Jericho Cup and what it means to Australia and New Zealand. And I think the best part about this race is the buy-in from the participants and the owners. Now, people are starting to look for these Jericho horses a long way out because they want to win this race.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I mean, I think Bill's vision probably, he wanted a unique venue. And I think, obviously the paddocks here in Warrnambool provide that. And it's not just a normal race. It's not 4,600 metres of going around a normal racetrack. They go through our famous paddocks here a couple of times throughout the running of the event. And like you said, it's a cracking field this year. I think we've got a maximum 14 with 4 emergencies there as well. And I think I was looking at it this morning. There might be half a dozen locals who are actually entered into or have accepted into the field this year as well. So really exciting for us. As you well know, particularly at the Carnival, the locals are pretty hard to knock off on their home deck. So we're sort of hoping that as Aaron Purcell did last year, another local can win this year.
And I know that it's a race that has the eyes right around Australasia because Sean Ritchie's about to join us. I know Ash Maley, who's based in WA, desperately wanted to get his horse here after that qualifier at Albany, but couldn't get him here. But it's a race that I think that everyone around this country wants to be part of if they can. And it's not easy as well. Like, you got to take your horse to Warrnambool. They've got to have a whiz around the course because it's not a normal race course, is it? So they've got to learn where to go left and right and through the paddocks there at Warrnambool. So it's a great spectacle as well.
Yeah, spot on. And we started our week with a schooling actually through the paddocks. I think we might have had 14 go around, and obviously that's, it's open to horses that will either participate in the Jericho or the Consolation on Sunday. But, it was a great start to the week for us. It was sort of a bit like the Carnival as well, I suppose, when we have those jumpers go through the paddocks and do a bit of schooling. And we've sort of replicated that for the Jericho. And I know a lot of trainers, value that. Dermot and his team have done a great job to open that facility up because it is a unique course, that's for sure. And, a little bit of experience going over the roads and into the paddocks and back into the course proper probably, will pay dividends for someone.
Is it a little bit earlier this year?
No, so it's always the 4th Sunday after the Melbourne Cup.
Okay,
so it's probably because the Cup was a little bit earlier this year. But I think the last couple has been early December, so we float back into that late November sort of schedule this year. And
how many people do you expect to be at Warrnambool on Sunday?
Yeah, I've looked the crowd the last couple of years. We've been well over 4,000, sort of up to that 4,500 mark. I think with a little bit of rain last year, we might have just gone under that 4. So pre-sales are pretty good. There's been lots of speculation. I think the phone started ringing, early May from people who are interested in coming. So, we're expecting 4,000 plus here on Sunday, and, we can't wait. The team are raring to go.
And Bill Gibbons, we're thinking of him. I think he's a little crook at the moment, so hopefully he should be so proud with what he's been able to achieve here with the Jericho Cup. It's sort of like you can make a difference in this world, and obviously this race now, the Jericho Cup, he had a vision, he had a belief. Obviously he was very passionate about this and what it meant and what he could actually try and achieve by having this Jericho Cup. And I think it's done wonders for this game and also society in a way as well, with, as we just mentioned, from the top side. I think he should be so proud of what he's been able to achieve here, along with you guys there at Warrnambool.
Oh, there's no doubt. And, I mean, Bill's the visionary behind this, it's no doubt. And what he's done, not just, for the Warrnambool Racing Club and the racing industry, but also, the RSL and the return services. It's just been incredible. But he and his entire family get behind this event, and they'll continue to do so again this year. We're expecting Bill to be here on Sunday, although, he's got a few little challenges. I don't think anything will keep him from attending here on Sunday. And, obviously the club's very proud of what we've been able to establish, but we're also incredibly proud of Bill and the entire Gibbons family for what they've done. And, we'll pay respects to Bill and the crew this Sunday again, and we can't wait to catch up with him. He's been on the phone a lot, and particularly Andrew, his son, who have done a lot of work in the lead up with, with scheduling and presentation requirements and things like that. So he's very much still got his fingerprints all over it, that's for sure.
Sensational, and it's the perfect track to have it at, Warrnambool, the Jericho Cup. And obviously with the Jumps Carnival in May, I reckon this is a terrific end of the year when you can have the Jericho Cup. And after the Carnival in May, everybody starts to look forward to this race now. So we wish you the best of luck, Luke. We appreciate you coming on. It's always a special day, and I reckon it's getting bigger and better each year, this Jericho Cup. And we wish you and Bill and the Gibbons family the very best of luck, and everybody competing in it as well. It's a great race to watch. You just don't know what's going to happen, basically, and you're trying to work out where they're going to go next. Rick McIntosh does a great job calling it. But, looking forward to it. We're about to catch up with Sean Ritchie because the Kiwis are looking to win it again. This time they've got Tempest Moon engaged. So, we'll catch up with Sean straight after our next break. But bring it on. Bring on Sunday.
Thanks, Gareth. Appreciate your time.
Good on you, Luke. Luke Can, the CEO of the Warrnambool Racing Club. As I mentioned before, Sean Ritchie, along with, of course, his co-trainer, Cole Murray, they've got Tempest Moon engaged in this Jericho Cup over the 4,600 metres there on Sunday. It's a big chance as well, so we'll catch up with Sean straight after this.
Followed by Morton's Fork, 200 to go, Nassac 100 to go, Nassac Diamonds in one race, the rest are in another. The Jericho Cup's going home to New Zealand. Nassac Diamond in a big hit and run mission. He's going to take out the Hames Paints Jericho Cup in a canter.
He bolted home that day, Nassac Diamond. It was a superb victory by that galloper, and it was a famous victory there for the Kiwis that won the Jericho back in 2023, and they're trying to do it again. And Sean Ritchie joins us now here on Giddy Up. Of course, he co-trains with Colin Murray, and they're trying to do it here with Tempest Moon on Sunday. And Sean's with us now. Good morning to you, Sean.
Good morning, Gareth.
How's things, mate?
Terrific, Matt. We're enjoying the Warrnambool hospitality already, and the race is more like an experience than a race this week. It's a fantastic week in Warrnambool, and they certainly lay it on thick and know how to present a party.
So why do you love this race?
I think it's a winnable race at the moment, and it's not going to be in the future. The fact that it eliminates the English imports, which they've got hundreds of years of breeding on us, so they're naturally going to be probably better stayers. So it makes it an intriguing race, and the whole lead up to it, the light infantry, and that when you're at the racecourse and they play the last post, nobody moves and nobody breathes, and it's the respect they show for those World War I, well, all veterans for that matter, that makes it such a unique event. What
was it like winning it back in 2023? Was it what you expected it to be?
To be honest, when they were coming down towards the last lap, I wasn't sure if there was another round to go or not. It's a unique sort of a race. Yeah. You can draw good and think you're on the rail, and they go around a corner and you're out three wide again. So the fact, I think, that it's a real underdog sort of race where you've got the high weight riders get their chance at some massive prize money, and of course it's put on for the Kiwis and the Aussies to test their talents on trying to get that endurance test out of their horses.
Can you compare this year's horse to Nassac Diamond?
A little bit. I think that we've sort of identified in the first year we come over, we bought a little mare called Where Are You? And she was, I think she was the rank outsider, and she ran a game sort of a third and wasn't quite good enough. But we sort of started to work out that it was the 300K. You didn't need a fast horse. No. And of course, you just needed that horse who can run those trips out. So with Nassac Diamond, when she arrived, we were pretty confident with her. She looked the ultimate stayer. She was very strong for a 5-year-old. The only thing, this horse is very similar, except she lacks that little bit of top line and that little bit of strength. So that might be the little question mark. But I would think that if she just isn't quite there this year, I'd say next year she'll be right at the very best for an event like this. And there's no better lead up than having a look at the track this year and prep for that.
And it was an easy win for Nassac Diamond. Campbell Ruilla gave her a wonderful ride that day, but when she burst through along the inside and then she swung for home and she was a big leader, I guess it was an enjoyable watch once you knew how far there was left to go.
Yeah, it really was. Like it's kind of cool when your horse is pretty clear and they're letting you know where the winning post is.
Yeah.
It gives you a good feeling, especially when you travel a long way from home. We've been to Australia a lot of times. Of course, I was a kid when my dad trained Bone Crusher and I was strapper for him, and you get all those highs. But when you get your ass kicked and you're away from home, you're sitting and looking at four walls in a motel, it's not as much fun at all. So I remember actually talking to a couple of press guys a couple of weeks ago regarding my biggest thrill in racing. And obviously that Cox Plate with Bone Crusher standing with my father, even as strapper, was my biggest kick out of racing. And as far as winning races is concerned, we've won the Oaks 3 times, and I think the Derby was the one I got the most kick out of because I was born in Ellerslie and it's run there. But I actually mentioned the second best as being the Jericho Cup because you're surrounded by, we had the owners come over and the managing director who loves the red wine, and Dad was there as well, and it's such a unique event, and it's like a Melbourne Cup week, the week leading into Warrnambool with the cocktail party and the events around it. It's fun.
Yeah, and Bill Gibbons has done a wonderful job. And it's great it's not just for the racing industry, but I think you can get new people to the game as well as they go to a Warrnambool, like on a Sunday, and they pay their respects to the brave men and women that have fought for our countries, basically, and the history behind it all.
Exactly, and I think he's put a lot of thought into it regarding, I think he get on very well with Bill now. Of course, we've had a good bit to do with him in the lead up to this race and in previous years. And, he started, I think, by just reading that book, Bill the Bastard, about the horse, of course, who led them through. And having said that, the whole thought of actually having it, I don't think this event would go off anywhere else in the world. It goes over a road. I don't think it would be the same at Flemington or even Moonee Valley. It just wouldn't be able to catch quite the same imagination that it does in a town like this. And you've got Shipwreck Bay here, of course, and it's an old town that's got a lot of history, which adds to the whole mystique around the whole event.
And it's also tribute to the brave horses that fought in the wars as well, and how mighty they were when we needed them most as well.
Yep, exactly, and obviously that dawn attack that they had with the light infantry, obviously was the whole thing about it is quite unique. It's well worth a read, Bill the Bastard.
Yeah. So what was there like? What's the preparation like with your mare that has to come from New Zealand? So obviously they have to get used to a course. They'd be thinking, well, we're just going to the races, but all of a sudden there's something completely new to them. So has she had a look at the course there in the paddocks of Warrnambool?
No, she hasn't, and we've done that. She's going to have a gallop over a mile on the course proper tomorrow morning, and that's all she'll need, really. I do think, every trainer has a template and they work sort of off it, and this sort of changes things. It's unique in the fact that it's the longest race in Australia, being the 3 miles. And but I've never been a big believer that a good jockey needs to sit on a horse prior to the race. A good jockey will work it out for himself. Whether they know the track is a whole different thing. I think that's important for a race like this, but I'm a big believer that you can overwork horses, and I think a lot of trainers probably do, especially when we think they're going further, we do a little bit too much. And, once you get yourself fit, especially if you've got a young horse like a 5-year-old, whereas she'd probably be the youngest in the race on Sunday, when you're young, you retain your fitness pretty good. And I think if you can work them too hard and burn them out and actually leave them a bit fatigued going into the race. So probably my preparation and prep to a lot of others may be a little different. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, but certainly I do feel a lot of horses are overworked and overtrained. Once they're fit, you can't get them any fitter. Yeah,
that is fascinating. So we're on a good 3 at the moment, but there is a little bit of rain predicted. What are you expecting it to be there come Sunday?
We had a good drop of rain last night, but it's cleared up now. I see we've got sort of showers and light rain forecast for the week. I'd have thought, had a good talk to Matt Williams, we're staying with, who's got some magnificent facilities here. He's predicting the track will be around a 5-6, so he's as good as we can go from our perspective, but certainly we'll have a better idea when we have a gallop on it tomorrow morning. Yeah,
would you be happy with that?
Yeah, look, this filly's won on a heavy track, albeit in a very soft maiden race. And our last 2 performances were on very firm ground. So she's a little bit of the complete package, which you kind of need for Warrnambool, because we hit a good track with Nassac Diamond 2 years ago and it was quite wet, I think, the year before that. So I don't think it'll bother her too much. Obviously, being the youngest horse in the race, if it's too testing, that would bring her maturity and her lack of strength into it. So we're hoping it's not bottomless, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that way anyway.
I was thinking about you actually before the build-up to this year's Cox Plate. Obviously, we celebrated the last Cox Plate at Moonee Valley as we know it today. And your horse, of course, was involved in the greatest ever Cox Plate, the greatest race in 1986. How did that make you feel in that build-up to Moonee Valley, knowing that we won't ever get to see a race on that track again?
I guess I just hope, like everybody else in Victorian racing or worldwide racing, that they get it right with that amphitheatre look. There's no track in the world, and I've been to a lot of tracks around the world where you get to feel like you're almost on the back of the horse when they come down the straight. It's so unique. And I'm sure that they've given a lot of thought, and they would have realised that when they've made these decisions. And I'm sure they didn't take it lightly. So if they can repeat or reenact that style, which I'm told they're going to try and do, then that's fine. But it is a special race. I mean, anybody who was there that day that Bone Crusher beat Waverley Star in the Cox Plate, it was just one of those events you'll never forget. And it was 2 monstrous horses giving everything they had in a battle that they created of their own warfare, really. Yeah. And he's a very special horse, Bone Crusher, but even there's no Bone Crusher's Cox Plate without our Waverley Star, and perhaps it did. might have been more fitting.
I get goosebumps when you talk about it, and I was there. Of course, I've been to a few Cox Plates now, and I saw Winx at her best, but I could just imagine that roar when they took off that far from home. And when they do, when the crowd goes up and you can feel that roar just run through your body, there's no track, I reckon, that can give you that type of feeling. I reckon that day would have been something else when the two champs from New Zealand took off.
Yeah, well, it's a track that's set up like that, isn't it? You can't wait for the clock tower. You can't do what you can do on what we call, and we all believe, are fair tracks like Flemington, where most horses get their chance. You have to put your horse under pressure where heart kicks in that last furlong, and that happens in most Cox Plates when it's a close finish, and it certainly happened when those two were so dominant that year.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on Sunday, mate, with Tempest Moon, and you can win another Jericho. It's always a great spectacle, and as you pointed out, such an important race to everybody, not only in this country now, but in your country of New Zealand. So good luck, mate. We appreciate you coming on. Enjoy that hospitality in Warrnambool.
Thanks very much, Gareth. We certainly will be appreciated.
Good on you, Sean. There's Sean Ritchie there. It's 8:32. Let's take the news.
Good morning, making SEN News headlines. Fears public service jobs are on the line after federal departments and agencies have been ordered to find ways to streamline. Donald Trump says there's still a few details to be finalised in peace negotiations to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Heavy rainfall has caused deadly flooding in Thailand that's claimed 19 lives. Authorities have deployed helicopters to rescue residents and tourists. And the Bureau of Statistics has added new questions to next year's census related to gender and sexuality, as well as how we travel to work. Up next, sen.com.au sport. The groups for next year's men's T20 World Cup have dropped. Australia has been placed into Group B, along with Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe, Ireland and Oman. And in WBBL, the Adelaide Strikers have beaten the Brisbane Heat by 6 wickets. And the V8 supercar drivers will hit the Adelaide track for practice tomorrow, ahead of this weekend's grand final event.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Gareth Hall with you. It's 8:34. Now, the Winterbottom Stakes, the Victorians will play a major part in Saturday's Group 1 worth $1.5 million. Ray McNario, however, has been easy since the barrier draw yesterday. He's out to $9. And then you've got Benedetta. She's at a big price now, excuse me, $19 as well. So I think Daniel Stackhouse might be joining Timmy Gossage and also Scotty Cummings just after 6 o'clock there on SEN Turf. We were meant to catch up with Daniel today, but he's just at the jump outs. But it's a good ride, I reckon, Benedetta, and she's getting out to a big price now. The favourite's Joker's Grim, which surprises me a little bit, currently at $2.62. And then you've got Overpass at $2.75. The mail is that Overpass is working like he was before he won last year's Winterbottom Stakes. He's a different horse than what they saw in the autumn in WA. And he worked strongly yesterday under Josh Parr, who will join me a little later on here in Giddy Up this morning. So overpass at 275. I expect the star sprinter who loves WA, of course, with his record there in that state, to start favourite in this year's Winterbottom Stakes. Joker's Grin is obviously very good. He won the Quokka defeating overpass in the autumn. He's unbeaten this preparation. He's a great story, trained by Bernie Miller and Patrick Carberry. And he has to be a big chance, of course. But the market basically has it down to 2. Ray Vignerio should nearly be unbeaten this preparation in Victoria for Robbie Griffiths. He's travelled over nicely. This is his first attempt travelling away from home at Cranbourne. And William Pikes decided to ride him over Oscar's Fortune, who's out to $15, and Chris Parner picks up the ride. Rope the Men's an interesting horse. Many say he would have been competitive, I reckon, in a railway stakes last week, the way that he's going for Steve Wolf. But they decided to go down that Winterbottom path. I reckon he's a big chance in the Gold Rush. So I think this is a perfect lead-up for him ahead of the Gold Rush, which is worth the same amount of money. And it would have been a lot better if we saw like Luana Miss drew a gate. Unfortunately, this 3-year-old filly has drawn outside the outside gate. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Sean O'Donnell rides. How I guess she'll need a bit of luck and obviously a little bit of pace in this race, and she can get a cut into the race. But looking at the map at the moment, there doesn't look to be too much speed in this year's Winterbottom Stakes, with Overpass out in front and dominating this race. Man Crush, who they rode with a sit there the other day at Kalgoorlie, he looked like to be the only pace really in this race. So Overpass might be able to get away with some nice sectionals and be mighty hard to beat in that Group 1 on Saturday afternoon. It's 8:37, 0499 736 736 to join our conversation. We'll come back with plenty more straight after this.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, all thanks to Bet365. It's 8:43 here in the east, 5:43 in Perth. A big hello to everybody watching or listening, of course, on SEN Turf. You can watch us streaming live every day, of course, on the SEN app, our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and, of course, listening on RSN, the 42 stations right throughout Victoria. Also listening to us on the SEN app and RSN app. It's great to catch up now with our next guest, Ali McDonald, of course, the daughter of the superstar trainer Clinton McDonald. And Ali has really stepped up to the plate in recent times, with Clint unfortunately having a fall and hurting himself, and he's been out of action for a little bit. And Ali's been running the show, and she joins us now. Ali, hello to you.
Hi, how are you going, Gareth?
Good, thank you. First of all, an update on your wonderful father. Is he okay?
He has his days. He was at Caulfield yesterday to watch some gallops. I think he may have overdone it a little bit in true Clinton fashion.
Yeah.
But no, he's coming along well. He'll be all right soon enough, hopefully. But the stable's running okay.
Yeah, you're doing a wonderful job, but it must have been bloody scary when he fell down those stairs and he was in hospital. I think he punctured his lung and broke a few ribs. It wasn't any just normal fall. It was a nasty fall there for Clint.
Yeah, well, I was actually doing the feeds, and Darcy McGrath, who works for us, Shane McGrath's son, came running around and said, "Quick, call the ambulance. Clinton's fallen down the stairs." And at first I thought it was a joke, because under no circumstances would Clinton usually ask for an ambulance. You know, he's broken a lot of bones in his life. So for him to ask for an ambulance is probably pretty serious. But yeah, he was in a pretty bad way. Ended up in the ICU and then was in the trauma unit for a few days after that. So yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, that is scary, but it's good to see he's in good spirits now, and he went to Caulfield yesterday, so he'll be back at the races before you know it. But have you enjoyed taking over a little bit while the old man's been a little crook? Yeah, I have. I would like to say it's slightly peaceful without him here, but it's also been very stressful because obviously I always have him, to bounce ideas across, and I haven't had that. But no, it's been fine. I obviously ran the stable when he went to Europe, and I've done it a few other times before that. So, it kind of comes second nature to me anyway. And you're about to get your name on the ticket. You're about to join forces with your father, Clinton, so it'll be a training partnership. How far is that away? Look, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I just have some bookwork to get through, which, at the end of the day it's a bit tough after you're working long hours at the stables. But, as soon as we kind of get that all ticked off, I should be ready to go. When did you realise that you wanted to do this? I started working for my dad probably 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I've done a few other things. I went to Arrowfield and did a yearling prep. I went to Marcus Oldham and did their equine business management course, and worked for the MRC for a little bit. So I've done a bit of everything in the industry, but I've always come back to the stables. That's where I love to be. Yeah. And what do you love about it? What's the best part about being a trainer? The horses, obviously. It's the lifestyle. It's everything about it. It's completely different to anything else. And as I said, I kept finding myself coming back here because it's where I wanted to be more than anywhere else. I think a lot of the punters out there love your father as a trainer, and he gets on this show because he's a punter. He's one of us in a way. Do you enjoy punt, Al, or you leave that up to the old man? I think I've seen him win and lose enough to stay away from it, to be honest. And what about training these horses? Like Vestas is an interesting one. Do we get to see her in the Doveton Stakes on Saturday? Yeah, so she went to Caulfield yesterday. Yep. We're trying something obviously a little bit different, putting blinkers on her. She also gets a bit horse shy, obviously getting in amongst them, which is where we didn't want to be the Saturday before. So we're just hoping that the blinkers, switches are on. But, after the run, we wouldn't have even know that she'd raced. She's pulled up super. So she should be looking to have a good race on Saturday. Is it a case where she just doesn't try when she gets onto the inside of horses? I don't know. She's very quirky. As soon as she's not happy with something, she'll just kind of hit the brakes or not want to do it. So, I think it's just her personality, but hopefully we can push her through that, and the blinkers, help her along. Yeah, and she's definitely got the ability to win a race like this on Saturday. For sure, she does. Yeah, it's been very frustrating. Obviously, she's been very unlucky multiple times, and hopefully we can just get the right run and get a win for her.
How's Miss Ole going?
She's good. She's had a few gallops so far, and yeah, we've been really happy with her. She's just having a quiet week this week, but when she's back up and galloping, she's super.
Yeah, and we won't get to see her this Saturday, or do you run her in the Blue Sapphire Stakes?
Not this Saturday. I'm not sure what the plan is for her just yet.
Yeah.
We'll probably give her another gallop on Saturday and then see how she comes through that.
And then you got a couple of 2-year-olds in the Merson Cooper Stakes, Tears of Happiness, who's trialled pretty nicely, and Simply Steffi as well. What can you tell us about those babies?
Simply Steffi, she looks like a 4-year-old mare. She's a very big girl, but she's very forward, takes everything in her stride and in her work, and she just kind of keeps improving. She's, as I said, she's a very big girl, and obviously sometimes those bigger fillies can take time, but that doesn't seem the case with her. So I think she'll be looking to run a really good race. And Tears of Happiness, I think she'll be running really well as well, but may need just a bit more time. Whatever she does on Saturday, she'll just improve from there.
Simply Steffi's beautifully named. Of course, she's by Graf.
Yes.
And is she your better chance out of those 2-year-olds on Saturday if they both line up?
I would say so, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was only a $10,000 purchase from Adelaide Sale, a Shane McGrath special. So, hopefully for all the owners involved, it would be great to see her perform well.
Do you enjoy going to the sales and trying to identify these yearlings?
I do when I can.
Yeah.
I am mainly in the stables. Obviously Shane and Quinton have that under control, but when they're at the sales, I'm usually here making sure that everything's running smoothly as possible.
Who's your favourite horse in the stable?
Me, it would have to be Vestas, which is why it's just so disappointing that she hasn't won a race. I took her up to Queensland when she was up there and spent a lot of time with her, and she's just a lovely horse to deal with.
Yeah. Hey, you got some nice chances there tomorrow at Mornington. If I gave you $100, what would you do with it, Al, tomorrow?
Look, I think it would have to be $100 on Miss Play Lounge.
Okay.
She, obviously from her last win, there's a lot of good form that's come out of that race, and I think she was very unlucky at Caulfield and just couldn't get the right run.
Yeah.
So I think that if she gets the right run on Saturday, gets back, and then gets back, she'll run really well.
Beautiful. So that's Miss Playlands. That's your best race 7, number 8 there at Mornington tomorrow. Hey, I wish you the best of luck with Vestas, and well done running the show while you look after your father as well. Glenn, I reckon he'd be proud of you with the job that you've been able to do, and good luck getting your name into the form guide. It's going to be exciting to see Ali McDonald alongside Clint McDonald, and the new bosses in town, which is good to see, Al. So thanks for joining us on Giddy Up, and the best of luck with Vestas, especially there in the Doveton Stakes on Saturday.
Thanks so much, Gareth. I appreciate your call.
There's Ali McDonald there. And, it's been a success, hasn't it, with like the Calvin and Tony McAvoy situation when they join up. It's the father and son combination. But you've seen all of the different partnerships throughout Victoria, the Freedman, Sam and Anthony, Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. It's been, I think, nearly one of the best additions to the racing game over the last 5 or so years, these partnerships, especially with the youth joining the experience. And it's great to see Ali having a great passion for the game, wanting to be involved in the sport. Obviously, her old man is a star trainer, but her grandfather was a legend as well, Ross McDonald. So we wish her the best of luck. Time for a break. We'll come back with plenty more. This is Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. It's 8:52.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Gareth Hall with you. It's 3 minutes to 9 o'clock. Straight after the 9 o'clock news here, we've got Semi Clipperton joining me. Looking forward to catching up with Semi. He's the comeback jockey who basically gave it up just over a year ago. And then he's making his comeback tomorrow. He's got a couple for Chris Waller. He won an Everest a few years back with Think About It. And now he wants to have another crack at being a jockey. Obviously, he learned a lot in that period when he retired and tried a few different other passions in his life. And obviously now he's decided that being a jockey is something that he really missed and he wants to be again and gets his chance to come back there tomorrow. So looking forward to catching up with Sam. Morning, G. Keen on Dorito at Hawkesbury tomorrow into Overpass on Saturday for the Bjorn Baker 2-up multi. Let me know your thoughts. I reckon Overpass is definitely the horse to beat. I reckon he might start shorter come Saturday. And Dorito was impressive there the other day on a good track. It's a daughter of I'm Invincible. I reckon she probably, you want to be confident, you'd be more confident on a firm track if she gets that. It's a soft track at the moment there tomorrow at Hawkesbury, but she was very impressive there the other day. And B. Baker, he's had a wonderful 18 months, but his team's on fire once again. 0499 736 736 to join our conversation straight after the 9 o'clock news. If you're listening to us in the West, it should say straight after the 6 o'clock news in the West, Tim Gossage and Scotty Cummings are ready to go with Scotty and Goss there straight after the 6 o'clock news for another big show as we get set for day 3 of the Pinnacles, highlighted there by the Group 1 Winterbottom Stakes. I think Daniel Stackhouse, who takes the ride on Benedetta, is their special guest. But straight after the 9 o'clock news here in the East, we've got Semi Clipperton. He'll be my special guest here to have a chat about his comeback to race riding, which will be happening there tomorrow afternoon at Hawkesbury. This is Giddy Up, all thanks to Bet365.
Good morning, I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. Australia's inflation rate is expected to rise when CPI figures are released this morning, dashing hopes of an interest rate cut. It's being blamed on electricity prices as energy rebates continue to wind back. Meantime, on 9, Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers says inflation data will be released monthly from now on instead of quarterly.
That will be helpful. That's a welcome development. But if you think about the progress on inflation the last few years, we've been able to get inflation down very substantially from what we inherited from our political opponents. That's given the Reserve Bank the confidence to cut interest rates 3 times already this year.
A new search of abandoned mine shafts in South Australia has found no trace of missing 4-year-old Gus Lamont. Detectives will likely return to the mines around 12 kilometres from the young boy's family's property this morning. Tropical cyclone Fina has significantly damaged the Berkeley River Lodge on the remote northern Kimberley coast. The Category 3 cyclone struck the resort, which is closed for the wet season on Monday. Ukraine has signalled support for the framework of a US-brokered 19-point peace deal with Russia. We're yet to hear from Moscow about the latest developments. In Paris, 4 more people have been arrested in connection with a jewel heist at the Louvre. And like straight out of Mrs. Doubtfire, an Italian man has been caught impersonating his dead mother to receive her pension. Authorities were like... Yes, sen.com.au sport is next. At the Australian PGA Awards in Brisbane, Perth golfer Minjee Lee has won the Greg Norman Medal for a 4th time. Lee took out the Women's PGA Championship this year, becoming just the 4th Aussie to win a 3rd major title. And for next year's T20 World Cup, the Aussie men's will line up against Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe, Ireland and Oman in Group B.
Live on RSN and SEN Track. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Gareth Hall with you on this beautiful Wednesday morning. What an hour coming your way. We'll catch up with the comeback jock, Sammy Clipperton. He's won 5 Group 1s, but now he's hungrier than ever in his return to race riding at Hawkesbury tomorrow. So we'll catch up with Sam. Looking forward to that. Jesse Gower from NZB will join us. We've got Tassie Time with Matty Reid with their carnival in full swing now. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have our WA segment with Austin Gallardi joining us, Josh Parr and Gary Hall Jr. That is 30 minutes uninterrupted by ad breaks, and we'll talk all things WA racing at the top of 10 o'clock here on Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. Jim Clark will also join us, of course, a leading bloodstock agent. He does a lot of work with Bjorn Baker. Looking forward to catching up with Jim. And then Josh Rodder from the MRC will also join us in this hour. Because hopefully we'll have the final fields for this Caulfield meeting on Saturday, and it's going to be a ripper as well. So it's 4 minutes past 9 here on Giddy Up, and it's time now to catch up with Sam Clipperton. Sam will make his return to race riding tomorrow afternoon for Chris Waller there at Hawkesbury, and the 5-time Group 1 winning jock is with us here on Giddy Up. Good morning to you, Sam. Thanks for joining us, mate.
G'day, Gareth. How you going?
Good, thank you. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for tomorrow. I was actually supposed to be having my first day back today, but copped the scratching already, so that's all right. So the comeback's delayed 24 hours, and got a couple there tomorrow at Hawkesbury.
It's hard to really believe that just back in 2023, you reached the pinnacle of racing in Sydney these days by winning the Everest, and then you retired maybe a year after. And you're back at the races. So it has been, I guess, a roller coaster in a way, couple of years for you, Sam. But first of all, why did you retire when you did?
I was just, it was in a time in my life, Gareth, where probably not long after the Everest, I was noticing the fire was diminishing.
Yeah.
It was getting harder to go to the races, and I was not enjoying going to the races. I wasn't enjoying going to work. And I was, struggling with a few things and tried to push on for as long as I could. But it was just a time where I couldn't do it any longer, and I didn't want to do it any longer. Especially with the level that I was, used to competing at, and also the level that I wanted to compete at. It takes a lot. It takes 110% dedication, and I didn't have that. I wasn't doing anything wrong by any means, but I certainly wasn't. I certainly wasn't applying myself how I should have been. And how the rest of the boys do who compete at the top. And I was falling behind, and in the meantime I was letting people down. And the answer was simple for me. It was just to give it away, and I gave it away with no intentions of coming back. But here I am, and I'm ready. I'm pumped. I'm approaching it like I've never been here before. It's nice to have that experience behind me, and it's nice to, think back of what I've achieved and hear what I've achieved. But I certainly going into it with no expectations of handouts. It's going to take a lot of work, and I've got to prove myself again and show people that I want to be here and earn trust back. And that's going to take time and effort, and I'm ready for that, and I'm pumped.
There's no doubt the jockey's room is better with you in it in Sydney. As you just point out, your record speaks for itself. 650-odd winners, 5 Group 1s. You won nearly 64 stakes races as well. So you had a really successful career, and you did well in Hong Kong, which is difficult to do as well. So, yeah, your statistics says it all, that you're one of the best jockeys when you're up and about there in Sydney. So what was the turning point for you then when you were having this break?
Well, it was, I had really good friend circle. Not only up in the Hunter Valley where I was, I made some great mates up there, from all walks of life, who who have turned into lifelong friends. But also the boys down in Sydney as well. I'd talk to the boys driving to work at 7 o'clock in the morning into Singleton. There, I'd be talking to the fellas who I rode with nearly daily, and they're like they're like your brothers in a way. So I never really lost touch of racing, and to that extent, I didn't just disappear and never spoke to anyone. I still, remained really close with my mates who were riding, and I wouldn't exactly check the results daily, but I'd check in on a Saturday to see how the boys went and talk to them about it. And over time, I just sensed, I was missing something. I was, and that was the competitiveness of riding and the adrenaline, and it's also all I knew, Gareth, as well. I left school when I was 15, and that was my life, and it was. I noticed it just the fire started to ignite again, and I would think back of what I used to do, as in terms of being a jockey, and it started to become cool to me again, really. And I kind of ignored that a little bit and just thought, it's a different stage of my life that's gone now. But the more I thought about it, the more I realised I'm 31 years old. I was incredibly lucky to make a successful career out of doing something that I'm somewhat good at, and something that I deep down I really did love. It was a passion. It was a way of life, and I sat back and thought how cool and how lucky are we? As hard as it is, but everything's hard. But I that feeling started to really creep up on me more and more, and then it became to a point where I was just thinking about it all the time. And I thought, well, let's go, let's dance, and this time around we're going to do things differently. And I rode for 14 years pre-retirement, and why can't I ride for another 14 years? Take two, and hopefully achieve what I've achieved before. But I'd like to think I can be doing more. I rode 5 Group 1 winners. Why can't I go out and ride 30? It feels different this time around. Not that I have anything. I don't feel like I've got vengeance or anything, because I left on my own terms. But I'm certainly going out there and with a new mindset.
I'm loving this conversation, Sammy. Sounds like you're determined and you're hungry and you've got a point to prove in a way. So why will you be a better jockey this time around? Have you changed your approach? Are you doing anything differently compared to when you were riding last time?
Well, just probably realisation, again, what I was saying, how lucky I am.
Yeah.
But also new experiences under my belt. I went up the Hunter Valley and worked as I worked in a stock and station agency there, and I was around all different kinds of people and successful people too in their own field, and I saw how hard they worked and the dedication they showed to what they were doing, running their own businesses, and it kind of hit me a little bit on how probably how much I took for granted on my own career.
Yeah.
And it was a good learning. It was a learning curve. It was a wake up call in a way, and probably I would just approach it with probably a more mature mindset, and staying on target and staying in my own lane and focusing on being the best I can be.
So when you had these conversations to come back, you're riding a lot for Chris Waller. What was that conversation like with our champion trainer, Chris Waller? Because I think he's going to be a big supporter.
It was good. Chris was actually someone who reached out a couple of times during my retirement, just out of the blue, just a random message here and there and checking in, which I appreciated. A couple of times I didn't even respond. I was working and thought, thanks, Chris, but no thank you. Not that he suggested coming back, but it was just genuinely checking in. So when I needed something, a conversation from him, he was one of the first I thought of. And, there was a few people who I reached out to who played a role in my career in some way or another, whether they were heavily involved or they were just someone I felt like I could turn to. And those were the people I went to and just discussed a few different things. And to be honest, Gareth, since I've been back, I'm not race riding yet. That all starts tomorrow. But the reception I've got has been quite incredible. And people have been, trainers have been willing to help me with track work and trials. And I didn't even know when I came back how that would go, riding track work, whether I'd be able to even get a spin, in the mornings. But it's been flat out. I've probably ridden 50 trials now, so it's been really good. I wanted to give myself a long foundation, a long build into it. Initially, I said I wasn't going to return until late December, early January. Well, here we are at the end of November and hopefully going around tomorrow. So it's been a really good prep. I've had really good support, really good reception. It's been quite amazing.
What's your weight like?
Well, the other reason of coming back is, I've lost weight pretty much like a civilian, so to speak, like a normal person would. I was at 65 and I'm down to about 58.5 now, but the rest of it won't come off until I start riding. The pressures of, you put on your body to get to the races. And so I'm walking around 58.5 at the moment. I'm riding 57 tomorrow. I think I've got 56 half Saturday, and that's just I'm not starting too light too early. I'm just going to, give it a couple of weeks and let it come down that naturally just through the vigors of riding. But I'm certainly as fit as I can be just through riding track work and trials and training. And then the next, 20% will all come through race riding. So I'm as ready as I'll ever be, and we may as well start somewhere.
And what's your week look like after Hawkesbury?
Well, Friday night I've got 3 booked in.
Yes.
Saturday I've only got the 1 at this stage.
And that's in town?
At Rose Hill.
Yep.
Hopefully that goes to, a couple more. And then I'm riding Sunday Newcastle, and I think I've got 3 or 4 there. So it's good to also start at a time where, there's so many race meetings coming up throughout December. So it'll be just good to be going to the races most days and getting myself into a rhythm, a routine and continuity of turning up every day, and also getting the eye in too.
Yeah.
The fitness levels up. And as for next week, nothing sort of really booked in yet, but like I said, there's that many races at this time of year, race meetings this time of year where horses are dual nommed and, they're nommed everywhere. So some of these rides might just come out of the blue on acceptance morning. But as of tomorrow, I'm a free agent and we're ready to go.
Will you go and get him, Sammy? Who are you looking forward to sledging in the jockey's room when you get back?
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
Bayless, Clark, Berry, McAvoy, you name it, all of them. They're all going to cop it.
Yeah, Cleverton's back. Look out.
We're back.
Do you catch up with Think About It much?
I do. I actually saw him last week.
Yeah.
And he was, while I was up in the Hunter, he was living, 5 minutes away from me. So at a friend of mine's property. So I call him and see him a lot. And he's moved down to the Northern Beaches now to another really good friend of mine, Jenny Bennett.
Okay.
And I saw him last week. I had a little sit on him, and he's great. He's a happy, healthy horse. And he's enjoying retirement. He's certainly not coming out of retirement like me. It'd be nice to find another one him, but he's enjoying the fruits, that's for sure.
It's great to see you in such a good space, Sam, or hear you in such a good space. And as I said, the jockeys room in Sydney is a better jockeys room with you in it. We wish you the best of luck in this comeback, mate. And, you should be proud to get back to where you've got to right now. And I reckon you'll definitely add to those 5 Group 1s. So you go and get them this weekend. Give the boys curry and stay safe, mate.
I will, Gareth. Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
There's Sammy Clipperton. We've seen it in Victoria as well. Like Ethan Brown, for instance, he didn't retire, but he took some time off just to get himself right mentally. And look at him now. He's one of the best jockeys in the land. He's flying, Ethan Brown. He's a good kid too, Ethan, but he understood himself. He was brave enough to step away from the game and then assess where he's at. And then he's come back with that fire in his belly. And as I said, he's just kicking plenty of goals. And there's no doubt Sammy Clipperton he's a Group 1 quality rider. He's proven that throughout his career. But as he pointed out in his own words, he was letting a lot of people down, and he was riding at the provincials on a Saturday instead of being in town. So he's taken that break. Obviously, he's a jockey now with a lot more hunger, and he's got that fire in his belly, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes when he makes his return. But I've got no doubt that he'll be one of the star jockeys in Sydney now. With that new attitude and that, he's got those new goals and aspirations, which is great to see. It's 20 minutes past 9. We'll come back with Jesse Gow from New Zealand Bloodstock and also Tassie Time with Matty Reid next.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Gareth Hall with you. 25 minutes past 9 in the eastern state, 25 minutes past 8 up there in Queensland, of course. And good morning to our friends in WA. It's 25 minutes past 6. Just some track updates this morning. Wyong, it's a hot day there in New South Wales in the high 30s or mid 30s anyway. They're good for at the moment at Wyong. Rails out 3 metres. And there was a little bit of rain around Geelong, but it's missed the racetrack there. So they're going to be on a good 4 all day at Geelong today. The rails out 4 metres from the 800 to the 402 metres for the remainder. But there's been no rain in Geelong this morning. So we're on a good 4 there for that Wednesday meeting. Well, it's a Moonee Valley meeting at Geelong on this Wednesday afternoon. Always great to catch up with Jessie Gower from New Zealand Bloodstock. Hello to you, Jess. Good morning to you, Jessie. Hello.
Hey, Gareth.
How's things?
Good, thank you. I've recovered from your Road to Karaka tour here in the Waikato, finally.
How good was that? I thoroughly enjoyed it. That day we spent out at Pencara, of course, with Sir Peter Vella was one of my favourite days of all time. So, and the farms were so great. Great to catch up with Roddy Schick and the team there, and obviously at Cambridge Start and Waikato as well. So it was a lot of fun. Tomo. It was great fun. John Thompson there. So looks like everybody's in good spirits as we get set for the celebration of 100 years with New Zealand Bloodstock, of course, selling thoroughbreds.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in showing off our farms too, particularly foreigners, having you come down and see it. It's one thing coming to Karaka and seeing the horses and meeting the people, but it's quite another, isn't it, when you actually get to where the horses are sourced, where they're growing, and having that insight into where they truly come from. And
there's been plenty of good momentum being built off the back of the Ready to Run sale.
Yeah, for sure. Look, that was a ripper of a sale, obviously a record-breaking ready-to-run sale. The demand for these Kiwi horses is at an all-time high, and so wonderful timing to be able to say, well, look, here we are. We've got some more for you. They're yearlings this time, and they're available at the end of January. So beautiful timing for us, and a ripper catalogue as well. So we released that about a week ago, and the catalogues are online and they're in the post at the moment.
Okay, so they're not far away. I had a few text messages coming through today. When do we get this catalogue for the NZB sale? But that's not far away. It does take a little bit of time these days to post it, especially across the Tasman. But you can see it online as well, and you must be over the moon with the catalogue. What's the response been?
The response has been really good, and for good reason. The vendors have supported this sale so well. Obviously, it's 100 years, and that's, I think, reflected in their regard for it. We've got 100% of some big studs. All of the yearlings are coming to Karaka. Some who can't quite prep. All of them are sending us all of their good ones, and there are very few that aren't making it to Karaka as well. So it is incredibly strong. It sends a clear message that if you want a good Kiwi horse, you've got to be at Karaka in January. And it's just, we're really proud of it. Also, the format's changed slightly. So Book 1 and Book 2 were across 5 days last year. We've condensed that right down. So Book 1 is now a 2-day sale, and Book 2 is now a 1-day sale. So you can see Book 1 and 2 across 3 days, and we know people don't like going away from home for too long. Summer's busy, and it's always hard to get away for a length of time. So what we've tried to do is pack it all into 3 days. It means that we've got about just over 800 boxes on site, and we've ensured with this planning that all of the Book 1 and Book 2 horses can be on site for inspections from the week prior. Just making it really easy for buyers.
So you can turn up and you can expect Book 1 and Book 2
and Book 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day that third day, but I think that will be well received, especially from the Australian buyers in a way, so they can be there for the 3 days knowing that they can have a look at Book 2, because there's been many good horses that have been purchased out of Book 2.
Yeah, they definitely have. And I think it's been a tough selection process for our bloodstock team to try and distill it down to those 800 plus horses has been quite a task. But that means that it's just the job is done. It's just that much easier. And all the quality stock from New Zealand's packed into those 3 days. Yeah, for sure.
So 100 years, obviously, as you just said, a lot of the farms are dedicating all of their draft to NZB in Karaka 2026 because of the significance of the 100 sales. So it is going to be some celebration as well, Jess, when we head to New Zealand in the latter part of January.
Absolutely. 100 years, it's very significant. And it's over that period of time, the sales arena has moved from Trentham down in Wellington up to Karaka in the Auckland area. And, we used to sell in guineas and now we're selling in dollars. There's been a lot of change in that time, and some absolute titans of the racetrack have emerged from this New Zealand yearling sales. And I mean, you know them all: Farlat, Rising Fast, Tulloch, Dulcify, Octagonal. So you think there are so many.
Some on a list.
There are others as well.
Yeah. So you can book in, get your trip ready to go, obviously. And there's a lot of the stables in Australia as well that are going on a tour. So they head out a little earlier, and NZB takes them on a stud tour as well. And it's a lot of fun. I know a few of the bigger stables get their clients and they have a week or so in New Zealand. So looking at thoroughbreds and drinking a lot, basically, but responsibly.
It's how we woo them. It's how we wooed you. It's a time.
Well, yeah, you wooed the blogger. Yeah, you wooed the blogger. That's he never stopped there, the racing blogger, when he went. But hey, Jess, it was a lot of fun, and as I said, I recommend it to anyone. Just beautiful country, and as you pointed out, you do understand why New Zealand's able to breed the superstar thoroughbreds that they've been able to breed over the years, and the people of New Zealand, especially in the racing game and the breeding game, are second to none in a way. And I think the best part about all of it is they get on so well together. They obviously, they're competitors in a way, but they understand that if they're going well, you're going well. And it's great to see. So we appreciate you having us and looking forward to getting back there next year.
Lovely. Thanks, Gareth.
Good on you, Jess. Jess Gower there from NZB. I'll take the news and I'll come back with Maddie Reid next.
Good morning, making SEN News headlines. Fierce public service jobs are on the line after federal departments and agencies have been ordered to find ways to streamline. Donald Trump says there's still a few details to be finalised in peace negotiations to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Heavy rainfall has caused deadly flooding in Thailand that's claimed 19 lives. Authorities have deployed helicopters to rescue residents and tourists. And the Bureau of Statistics has added new questions to next year's census related to gender and sexuality, as well as how we travel to work. Up next, sen.com.au sport. At the Australian PGA Awards in Brisbane, Perth golfer Minjee Lee has won the Greg Norman Medal for a fourth time. Lee took out the Women's PGA Championship this year, becoming just the fourth Aussie to win a third major title. And for next year's T20 World Cup, the Aussie men's will line up against Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe, Ireland and Oman in Group B.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. The Ladbrokes Tasmanian Summer Racing Festival is in full swing. On Friday night, we had the running of the Newmarket, and Maddie Reid joins us now for Tassie time. Hello to you, Maddie.
Morning, G.
Some statement by Durazo, the star of Tassie racing, on Friday night.
Yeah, he might be the best that we have now, Durazo, G. He was magnificent. Didn't the punters get that one right? It was some good old-fashioned plonk. I think sort of 260, 270 early. Jumped in the red and comfortably in the red, $1.80. All credit to the ride by Kelvin Sanderson. Tricky middle alley, just lobs into the 1-1, and from there he was always the one to beat. And at handicap conditions, we've seen this in the past with good horses like the Inevitable. Under the handicap conditions of the Newmarket, this is the race where they're susceptible, and from here they go to Wait for Age. So he's just got the summer at his fingertips, Durazo. The 1,400 metres of the Conquering in a fortnight will be his next race, and I'd imagine he'll be twos on and take a power of beating.
They can't beat him really for the rest of the carnival, can they, at Wait for Age now after what we saw on the weekend?
Look, on paper, no, but it really seems to be that straightforward, G. You always see a horse pop up out of nowhere, and look, the second horse in that race, Just Cruising at Start 7 as a Class 4 horse, was enormous. Look, obviously under the weights of Wait for Age, it's going to be very difficult, but it'll be interesting. We've got some really good horses down here, so I don't think they'll just be gimmies for Durazo, but he certainly is the one to beat, that's for sure.
And then you had Cracked the Shutters that took out the 3-year-old Cup in good fashion.
Yeah, that was, a minor upset, G. It was a very, very fast-run race. So Sanaya, who's also with Barry Campbell in the Star Thoroughbred colours, led them along there at a really, really quick pace. I think she would have been probably 6 to 7 lengths off the times in front of Durazo in the Newmarket, and the overall time was 5 lengths quicker than the Newmarket as well. So she came in fresh, Cracked the Shutters, had the runs on the board in terms of a couple of runs as preparation, and she was just too good for them. She's very, very smart. Cracked the Shutters. I think she'll go to the 3-year-old trophy, which is also on Conquering night. That's over 1,400 metres. Sanaya's an interesting one. I'm keen to chat to Barry Campbell at the track tonight and see where he goes. She does look like a genuine sprinter, so whether she gets up to the 7 furlongs and maybe is kept for a race like the Carpet Charge, $110,000 race on Devonport Cup Day, I'm not sure. So there are some options going forward, but it was a really good scene setter for the rest of the summer Newmarket night, and it always is.
Great harness racing Saturday night at Launceston. The Tassie Golden Apple, Emma Stewart, he's a punk rocker, along with the hometown hero and Alex Ashwood, who returns to, of course, Tassie on the weekend. They'll combine. I don't know how that horse gets beat unless Alex Ashwood with his steel hands can gallop it away from the tapes, but I'm pretty sure that he's in good form. He's full of confidence at the moment. And then you've got, of course, that featured 3-year-old fillies race worth $75,000. The Bride might be hard to beat there, I reckon. Can go straight to the front. But, so it could be a big night for Alex Ashwood on Saturday night.
Yeah. It definitely does look that way, G, and he's a punk rocker, of course, won one of the heats for the Golden Apple on the 16th, followed up with a run last week, went around to $1.07 and only just got in it, if you don't mind. So, look, that's obviously the tune-up under the conditions of the Golden Apple and the fact that I guess the local star tried to tell you he's going to come off 20 metres. Along with a tried and tested horse like Star Major, it makes it really difficult. 2 3-year-old features, as you mentioned. The bandbox for the fillies and the Globe Derby for the Colts and Geldings. Yeah, look, the Bride will take a bit of beating. Barbary Tales and Smooth Reason have met a bit in seasons gone past, and there are a couple of handy ones as well. We've also got the Young Bloods Challenge for the junior drivers there, 4 races on that program. So it's great to have the Saturday night prime time slot, and this is arguably the feature meeting for the Launceston Pacing Club for the year. So it's going to be a beauty to kick off the summer.
What about any winners tonight, mate, please?
We are going to do our best. I don't mind a few at a price, G. So the best tonight I've made race 2, number 2, Beneficiary. I've just spoken a bit about Barry Campbell and the Star Thoroughbred colours, and this is an interesting one. He's on debut here as a 5-year-old. They paid over $200K for him at the Gold Coast sale back in 2022, and he's found his way down here. He's had a couple of really nice trials. He's drawn the car park, but I think that's holding up the price for us, and it's a race that falls away pretty quickly. I think the favourite Don Turbos is the one to beat, but I've got Beneficiary in it a lot closer in the market, so I made him my best. Race 2, number 2. Each way we're going to go to the last. Race 8, number 5, Still Missed. Really like the run in Hobart off a bit of a freshen last time, and the form out of that benchmark 60 is pretty strong. Rubble on the double gave Love and Bearable she could handle here on Friday night, so I think he can run a race in a tricky finish tonight. Still Missed. And a roughie in the opener, race 1, number 7, Zulu Fields. Doesn't have great figure form, but ran some good races last preparation. Soft trial going into this, and maybe it can fill a hole for us. It's big odds in the first. So they're my best. G, race 2, number 2. Each way value, race 8, number 5, Still Missed, and 1 at Bolter's odds, race 1, number 7, Zulu Fields.
Good luck, Matty. We appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, G.
There's Matty Reid with Tassie Time. The Ladbrokes Tasmanian Summer Racing Festival in full swing with the running there of the Newmarket on Friday night. Wasn't Gerardo splendid there? And as Matty just pointed out, he's going to be mighty hard to beat for the rest of the carnival. Jim Clark, one of the leading bloodstock agents, will join us next here on Giddy Up.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Thanks to Binary Stud, the home of the leading first season sire Kirk and Proven Stallions Exceedance and Star Turn. One of the star bloodstock agents of the game in this country is Jim Clark. Of course, he works closely with Bjorn Baker and he joins us here on Giddy Up. Good morning, Jim.
Morning, Gareth.
Did you enjoy New Zealand?
Yeah, I had a great time in New Zealand. It's always good fun getting back over there a couple of times each year. And, we had a good time at the sale and managed to buy a couple of nice horses.
What's it like working with Bjorn Baker?
It's never a dull moment. Nothing stays the same for too long with Bjorn. He's always got us on our toes. But, look, he's an entertaining character. He's obviously a fantastic trainer. And I guess I've been working for and with Bjorn for quite a long time now, so we've got a very good working relationship, and fortunately he kind of gives me the reins to crack on and get it done at the sales, which is very good.
So how does that work? Say we've talked to Will Bourne, who works with Kieran Marr, Guy Moldcast, who works closely with C. Waller. Once you build that association up with the trainer like that, is it basically he gives you an order and you do what you want, or does he have to have a look at them as well? How does that all work?
Oh, I guess we've kind of got a pretty good idea going into the sales each year how many horses we think we can buy or that we need to try and secure. And really we're just trying to cater for Bjorn's client base, different price ranges, a mixture of colts, fillies, horses that'll get up and run early and a few that might train on as older horses as well. So in terms of the process, we spend a lot of time looking at the horses on the farms starting next month, and by the time we get to sort of the day out from the sale, Bjorn sort of is fairly tuned in to looking at the shortlist then, and we go through them together, and he casts his eye over them and decides which ones he thinks we should go for and which ones he'd leave behind. But it's a pretty collaborative process. We've got a good team in place, and it all works pretty well.
It looks some catalogue, doesn't it, this Magic Million sale coming up in January?
It does, yeah. It's always, I guess, a very busy time of the year, but very exciting time of the year as well, with the races obviously coinciding with it too. The catalogue, I think, sort of flicking through it, looks as deep as ever, and looking forward to getting stuck in and looking at some of the horses on the farms next month.
And you know how to find a good one at Magic Millions. OLA, Steffi Magnetica, Horseshoe Hill, just to name a few.
Yeah, we've had a good run out of that sale in the past few years. It's I guess a sale that we really sort of pin the ears back and try and buy as many nice horses as we can. We buy more out of there than any other sale. It's for a number of reasons, but I think the race day is a big incentive. The catalogue's always very good, and fortunately Bjorn has won the race, the big race there with OLA last year, and of course unencumbered several years back as well.
And you can find a good All Too Hard. What's the secret there?
Yeah, I love All Too Hard. He's been a great stallion for me in my career and my clients. Obviously, Steffi Magnetica was out of the Magic Millions a few years ago, and she's been a wonderful mare for the owners and for Bjorn and for myself. Obviously winning those couple of Group 1s and then the invitation during the spring as well. I don't know. He's a stallion I've just had luck with. We bought another nice All Too Hard 2-year-old in New Zealand the other day, and I think Horseshoe Hill is a very promising filly. She's had a sort of slightly stop-start career to date, but the form around is very good, and I'm sure she's going to come back a very nice filly in the autumn.
Is there anything in particular you look at when you see an All Too Hard that stands out in your eye without giving too much of your secrets away, Jim?
Oh, not really. I guess, I try and just buy a nice balanced horse. Yeah. I don't like them to be too big. I don't like them to be too small. Somewhere in the middle is pretty well perfect. All three of those are similar in some ways and different in others. But I guess the other thing with Steffi Magnetica, she had a very good dam side pedigree as well, being out of a Group 1 winner, and it just happened to work with that stallion. But I think he's a very, very good stallion, a very reliable stallion. He's very well priced. He's, capable of getting you a very, very good horse, as we've seen with Steffi Magnetica and Forbidden Love and Wellington and others. Clients of mine, Ridgemont and Cunningham family, who raced Steffi Magnetica, they've sent a number of mares back to him again this year. And, he's a horse we've had good luck with.
How's the breeding season been for you?
Good, yeah. Overall, it's sort of it's been, I guess, a little bit patchy in parts, but for the most part, we're going very well now. Most of the mares are in foal or under service. We've got a mixture of sort of mares gone to the higher end proven stallions, a few more speculative horses, and
which ones did you spec with?
We're very keen on Animo. He's got some nice foals on the ground. Fortunately, we've got a couple in foal to Ole Kirk as well, which is a horse I'm
lucky.
Very high on. He's we've obviously with Ole, we bought 2 yearlings by him this year, and Björn bought a weanling as well to race for his clients. So we've got a couple of pregnancies to Ole Kirk, which is great.
Well done, Jim. I'm looking forward to catching up with you, hopefully maybe before the Magic Millions, when you start to inspect a few of these young horses at the farms there, because obviously it's a busy month for you, December, as we head into January. But, yeah, always great to catch up with you to get your insights, and we wish you the best of luck going forward. But we appreciate your time here on Giddy Up. See if you can find us and All Too Hard. That'll be much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks.
See you, mate. There's Jim Clark there. Vinery stud, home of the leading first season Sile Kirk, and, of course, the proven stallions and Exceedance and Star Turn. Time for a break before we wrap up this hour here on Giddy Up.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We'll have those final fields for Caulfield's meeting shortly. It's a great meeting there at Caulfield on Saturday, highlighted by the Zipping Classic, but there's stakes racing everywhere you look on that program. So we'll catch up with Josh Rodder from the MRC just after 10:30. West is Best is coming up. We've got half an hour uninterrupted of WA content. Looking forward to that. Some terrific stories this week to tell you about. Austin Gallardi is this young jockey going places. He had a double there on day 2 of the Pinnacles on Saturday, including that victory on Smooth Chino. So he will join me. He's on his way to Geraldton today. Josh Parr is looking to win another feature with Overpass there in WA this weekend. They're looking for their 3rd Winterbottom Stakes. He galloped that horse yesterday at Breakfast with the Stars, so looking forward to catching up with Josh. And then you've got the $100,000 JP Stratton there on Friday night at Gloucester Park. And Mr. Smarty won the Nullarbor for Gary Hall Senior and Junior. Will be one of the favourites. He's got the job in front of him because he's drawn outside that second row. Mitchell's drawn gate number 2. And he looks the horse to beat, but we'll have a chat to Gary Hall Jr. as we always do on a Wednesday for West is Best. So plenty to look forward to in the next half an hour. Then, of course, we've got Bag of Tips after that. We'll catch up with Josh Rodder to get those fields for Caulfield on Saturday. And then, of course, after 11 o'clock, we'll talk greyhound racing, especially with Georgie Ferrugia and Jason Adams as we start to preview Melbourne Cup night, Saturday night.
Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. On SEN Track, this is the best from the West.
Time now for the best from the West, thanks to 7plus and racing.com. You can catch WA racing action live and free on 7plus and racing.com. In the next half an hour, we'll be catching up with Austin Gallardi, Josh Parr and Gary Hall Jr. on this Wednesday morning. Of course, Austin Gallardi had a big day there at Ascot there on Saturday. He bookended the card, winning the first race, and then, of course, Smooth Chino taking out that final event. And he is some horse. He's going places. He's unbeaten at the moment. He's 5 from 5. We had a chat to Indy Wynette there yesterday as well, the young trainer who prepares Smooth Chino, and she's based there at Albany. And she is living the dream at the moment with that galloper. And Austin Gallardi, he's come a long way in a short amount of time. It's taken him a little while to get where he's at the moment, but he's definitely a jockey going places, and he joins us now here on Giddy Up. Good morning to you, Austin. Thanks for your time, mate.
Morning. How you going?
Good, thank you. On your way to Geraldton?
Yeah. We're all meeting up and, in for a long day.
Yeah, so how long does it take you to get there?
About 4.5 hours.
Yeah, so who do you travel with? Who's in the car today?
Today it's me, Taj, Lacta and Kira Yule.
Oh, okay, and do you share the driving or who gets the sleep?
It's actually not too bad of a drive. Normally, I'd say probably Taj will drive up and Kira will drive home.
Yeah. Hey, mate, you must be really happy with the way that it's all panning out for you at the moment.
Yeah, really happy. Having a really good run, and yeah, it's great to be getting some city opportunities.
So why did it take you so long? Obviously, it was a slowish start to your riding career as an apprentice, but you've really started to hit your straps of recent times. Is that just as simple as you getting more opportunities?
Yeah, I'd say definitely the opportunities are helping. Made a good enough name for myself out in the country, getting on the better horses and just getting a bit more confidence and obviously riding a bit better. And, that's obviously just built up to getting a few opportunities in town recently. So, it all helps and comes together. But, it did take me a while.
So what did you learn when you started to travel to all of the regional centres there in WA?
I don't know. I think it was just a good confidence boost getting on some faster ones, and building up good relationships with trainers, and then you get better support, and definitely helps getting on a faster horse. But yeah, just confidence, and the more you ride, the more you learn, and I just feel like it's all coming together really well.
So what does your week look like now? What stables do you go and ride track work at?
At the moment, I've just been working pretty much full-time for Grant and Alana Williams. Just do a fair bit of track work there and during the week.
And what's that?
Yeah, that's about it at the moment.
What's it like working with Grant and Alana? What have you learnt there?
Yeah, really good. Like, you're obviously riding top-class horses, and they do an amazing job with them. And, not one of them's missed. And, it's actually a good place to even learn to just get a good feel on the good horses.
And obviously William Pike goes there and rides a little bit as well. So, and Alana was a star, and I would imagine she'd be a great teacher as well.
Yeah, that's it. You just watch and learn what they do and how they are with the horses, and that all helps too.
Yeah. And tell us a bit about your association with Smooth Chino, and how important has he been for you and your career?
Yeah, he's a bloody star. He's definitely helped me. He's put me on the board a bit, but like early days when Indiana first got him, she brought him down to the track as a baby, and I took him around. I was like I already knew straight away. I was like, shit, this is a nice horse.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of work with him, and then she went down to Albany and didn't see him till I got to trial him, and he won his trial effortlessly. I know it was just an Albany trial, but he proved that he's got a bit of a motor there.
So you knew from basically day one.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it was. He just felt like a natural, he just did everything so easy.
And what was it like there winning on Saturday and bringing up a double with him? Because there's a little bit of pressure on, I reckon, the jock going to the last on Railway Stakes Day in front of 10,000 people with the well-back favourite.
Yeah, no, it was a wicked day. I don't normally get nervous because that's the worst thing for you. So I was just tried to keep my calm, but yeah, the closer it got, I was a bit, and I was like, oh, I just hope everything goes right, and he's unbeaten. I want to keep his stats going well. So, but no, once I was on the horse, I felt, all the nerves go out the window, and just, you're ready to go.
And you must have been confident in the run. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's a great feeling. He jumped so good. From barrier 1, he was always going to get a nice run. When I was always worried about Nobility leading and crossing me, but that wasn't a problem after its gate didn't really open. But Tash has brought me into the race, and we got a nice run throughout. He got a bit keen for a second there, but as soon as we got the gap, I was so confident.
Is he getting better with every start?
Yeah, I reckon his last run, really give me a lot of confidence for him. His other ones were a bit unsure, but the most recent win, that he felt bloody super.
Yeah, and you must be looking forward to the rest of the preparation. But we had a chat to Indiana Wynette, his trainer there yesterday, and she's starting to dream about the bigger races in the autumn, like the Quokka. Are you starting to dream about these big races now with him?
No, not really. I just, I don't get too ahead of myself. I just take it step by step. I let her do all that deciding, but it's exciting for sure.
Yeah. And tell us about your association with Indiana.
Yeah, I just started I've written a bit of track work for her and that, and she's always put me on even when I was a bit of a battler. So, she's been a good support, and she's stuck by me. So.
Yeah.
No, it's all working out well.
Do you feel now that you've got that self-belief that you can mix it with the very best jockeys in WA?
Yeah, well, definitely. You feel good when you ride winners out there against them, so that gives you a bit of a confidence kick. And, I feel like I've got a better feel for the horses these days, and they're running for me. So, when I go out there, I like to... just do the best I can and hope to think I'm up to the grade. So,
Yep. And you're one of the taller jockeys, so how does your weight go?
At the moment, I can ride 56 quite comfortably.
Yep.
But I've taken some 55s next weekend.
Yep.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Weight's not too bad, but I always have to watch it during the week and always just trying to keep busy. So that's another plus with track work that keeps me away from the fridge.
Yeah. And who's been a great mentor for you? I know that Peter Hall's a massive fan, and I said to Peter, I'm a fan of yours too, Austin. I reckon you can be one of the top 5 jockeys in WA in a few years' time, mate. And Hawley's obviously done a lot of work with you as well. So who are your mentors there in the West?
Yeah, I'd say definitely Peter Hall. He's a big one. He's always been by my side and he always talks me up.
He's a big believer.
Back in the day, I never really believed in myself, but Hawley's always kicking me. He's like, nah, you got to believe in yourself and go for it. So, he's been a big one. And, just a lot of trainers in that. They've supported me. And, there's a few out there.
Did you have a turning point when you did start to believe in yourself?
Yeah. Oh, you have to ride confidently out there. Confidence is everything, really. So it definitely helps.
Yeah. Well, you should be so proud, mate, and you've come a long way in a short amount of time. I know you've been in the game for a while, but now you're starting to get the success with all the hard work that you've been putting in, and to have a double on Railway Stakes Day, I think speaks volumes of how far that you've come. Have you got a winner for us at Geraldton today? What's your best ride?
Today, there's a few that have been running the mix, but I think one more too many. I think that looks like it'll get a nice run through and from barrier 2.
So for Alan Hughes, one more too many. That's race 3, number 2. Well, well done, Austin. Good luck going forward. You've got some great rides there. We've been declared brave Apache there tomorrow, so that's a winner for you at Albany. You've gone from Geraldton to Albany, so you're all over the state putting in the work. And, thanks for your time, mate, and good luck with Smooth Chino for the rest of his preparation. And safe trip to Geraldton.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
There's Austin Gallardi. So he's a man of a few words, but he's come a long way, hasn't he, Austin? And as Peter Hall, who looks after the apprentices along with Johnny Clay, he just speaks so highly of Austin, and I guess he's proud with the way that he's been able to develop in his career, and he's had to do it the hard way, going to Broome and Carnarvon and all of the race meetings and the Kimberley, and then doing Geraldton during that season in Albany. So he's done a lot of travel, and he wasn't even allowed to ride as an apprentice in the city because he hadn't had enough winners, and he had an extra 6 months put onto his apprenticeship as well. But the week after, he was allowed to ride on a Saturday meeting. But since then, since he's become a senior rider, he's been able to kick plenty of goals, mainly due to the success there of Smooth Chino. So from one rising star to an established star, it's great to have Josh Parr on today's show here on Giddy Up. G'day, Josh. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Pleasure to join.
How's WA treating you?
Really well, actually. I've been very spoiled, I must say. I've been looked after at Crown Towers, which has been fantastic, and what a great hotel it is.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to the week ahead.
So was this always the plan, to have a bit of a working holiday?
It become that way. Obviously, Bobby, who usually comes with Overpass, unfortunately she was injured, and Jenny, who's doing a really good job with him this time, I think she was quite keen for me to come and gallop him yesterday, and also was Björn.
No, we just lost you there a little bit, mate. You there?
Hello?
Yeah, we got you back, mate.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. You were just saying that you had to come over here because Bobby was injured?
Yeah, unfortunately Bobby got injured. So Bobby usually takes care of him while he's here in Perth, but things changed this time, and I was pretty keen to come and give him a gallop yesterday.
They tell me here, the few of the locals too that have watched him closely, because he's basically a local, isn't he? Overpass. He's been to WA on so many occasions, but They reckon he looks like the same horse they saw last spring ahead of the Winterbottom compared to when they saw him in the autumn. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's a fair point. And it's probably a good observation, actually. And I guess this backs up what you hear from Björn, what you hear from myself constantly. And he's a horse that needs to be fresh.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to have spaced runs. And when he's like that and he gets into that mindset, this is the horse you get, a really fit, healthy horse who's in a really good mind frame. And he looks fantastic in his coat. So yes, that's what they're seeing at the moment. And they didn't get to see that in the autumn in the Quokka because he was coming off the TJ Smith run.
Yep.
And he was just a little bit flat.
So that's an ominous warning to his rivals there on Saturday then, Josh.
It most definitely is.
Yeah. There's one of the best pieces of footage I've seen for quite some time is when they mic you up. Was it the Quokka or I think it was last year's Winterbottom? And just your love and obviously your relationship with Overpass. He's just been a special horse for you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I know that footage you're speaking of, and I must be honest, I totally forgot that camera was on.
Yeah.
And the fact that it had audio. So I guess that was a little peek into me behind the scenes. I guess I don't really let how do I say it? That side of me doesn't come out all that often, or it's sort of out on the track where no one really sees it. So that was a sneak peek of the relationship that Overpass and I have.
Yeah.
And he's a very special horse. What he's done for myself and Björn Baker is remarkable. And I really do love him.
It gives me goosebumps when I think about that because it was rare that we get to see that footage and just your love for him. And he basically, you've got that association with him that he never really lets you down, but you know him better than anyone. And I guess he knows you better than anyone.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I've been his jockey for the past 3 years now, and no one else has ridden him at the races. So we have developed a really good bond, and I like to believe that he knows me and he's comfortable with me, and I'm well and truly comfortable with him. I know exactly what I'm going to get from him. The moment I'm legged aboard Overpass, I can sense what sort of mood he's in and get an understanding of what performance is about to follow.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we worked out the recipe with him and keeping him fresh. So most of the time when I get on him now, he's in a really good mood.
Do you did he go, what's going on here on Tuesday morning? Basically the other day, this is not like you to travel to Perth and ride me. You thought.
Yeah, I might have thrown a spanner in the works, but thankfully it didn't affect his gallop.
No, so from a speed map point of view, it looks like it's going to be a lovely setup for you there on Saturday. There doesn't look like there's too much pace on paper.
No, that's correct. And I guess in years gone by, or Winterbottom's gone by, Quokka's gone by, there's been suggestion by others that they might be able to match his speed or might be able to go with him. I know Bravo Centurion did in the Winterbottom last year, but I don't think it's been able to lift its head since. Overpass is such a fast horse and travels at speed that gets a lot of horses very uncomfortable, and he's able to accelerate off that. So he looks to get the lead there on Saturday, and from a very favourable draw, he should comfortably lead the fence, and hopefully he gives a really good kick when he turns for home.
Geez, his run in that Everest was mighty as well. What was it like competing with Kane Rising that day? And I thought he was nearly going to hang on for third against the world's best there in Sydney on Everest Day.
It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
What a day it's become, or what a race it has become. And obviously the addition of Kane Rising just added a little bit more anticipation, a little bit more excitement. And when I let Overpass go, 250 from home, I really felt I was still in with a really good chance of winning. And he fought hard all the way to the end. And I think Kane Rising just pulled away from him the last section, and it might have just deflated him a little bit. And then Jimmy Star and Tempted were able to get him late. But what a gallant performance by him. He was obviously unwanted in the market. I think he jumped about 70 to 1, and he's he looked the winner at a brief point of the home straight.
For a horse that's won $12 million, like he's probably been a little underrated, I reckon. Not in Perth, but on this side of the country.
Yeah, I think he's been underrated his whole career. He often is. I guess he often drifts in the market. He's not necessarily one of the firm gallopers all the time. Obviously, when he comes to Perth, that's a different story. But his record is very hard to knock. Like he's won a lot of money, as you mentioned, and a big Sydney Stakes win. Obviously, a really good performance in the Everest this year, and he's a beauty.
Yeah. Do you feel that how great he's been for people for Perth racing and WA racing, for what he's been able to achieve? But I think it's so important that you get a horse like Overpass that continues to turn up and have that little bit of star factor for the carnival in there. Can you feel that when you head to WA? I
really did for the second quokka.
Yeah.
So if we take our mind back to the first one when he won by a whisker and he beat Amelia's Jewel.
Yeah, you ruined the party.
And that was obviously that didn't sit well with the crowd that day because she was there to see Amelia's Jewel. She was their hometown favourite, and that's the one they wanted to see. But when we come back 12 months later, it was interesting. There was definitely a different vibe, and there was a lot more support for him from the crowd. And that was really evident when I returned to the mounting yard as the winner.
Yeah.
So I think now he is looked at by everyone here as maybe one of their own.
Yeah, there should be a bar named after him, regardless if he wins there on the weekend, to do what he's been able to do. He has owned the sprinting Group 1 in WA now for a few years, and his record speaks for itself. So can't wait to see what he can do on Saturday. Who are you scared of most, mate, there on Saturday?
Well, I think the obvious choice there is Joker's Grin.
Yeah.
He's obviously in really good form. He won the quokka in good style. So he's the obvious danger. But if I get a lead and run along at a speed that suits us and he gives his kick that he's able to, he's going to be very hard to run down, and Joker's Grin will have to be pretty good.
Yeah, he'd have to be super if he wins from where he's going to be. It looks like on the speed. Mathematically, he'd just have to go better than he did there on the quokka and just smash the clock, I would imagine. But it's an exciting race when you've got Overpass taking on the local hero for Bernie Miller and Patrick Carberry there in Joker's Grin. So can't wait for the winner bottom. Has Simon Miller got you working there during the week while you're on this working holiday? And have you been able to pick up any rides on Saturday, mate?
I'm catching up with Simon today, which will be good.
Yeah.
And we might be able to discuss the weekend. He might have a job or two for me. We'll see what happens.
All right, then. Well, Josh, we appreciate you coming on. Jay Parr and Overpass have been an institution for the WA Carnival now for a few years, both in the autumn and the spring. And I think B. Baker turns up. He's the guest speaker at the Carbine lunch there on Friday, so that'll be entertaining. Hopefully he has a few beers on the plane before he gets there, because I reckon he's at his best after he's had a few beers. And, you put on that show once again on Saturday, mate. We appreciate you coming on here on Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning.
Thank you very much.
There's Josh Parr. What a star he is, and what an association he's been able to have with Overpass. I can't believe he's not the favourite, Overpass, now for the Winterbottom Stakes. Joker's Grin holds favouritism, but just. But Overpass is the second favourite, and then we go out to Ray McNero. But I reckon by the time they start that race on Saturday, Overpass will be the favourite for this Saturday's Winterbottom. It's 10:21. This is the best from the West here on Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. We're about to catch up with Gary Hall Jr., who's not far away. Obviously, Gary Hall Jr. Is not joining us today. Where is Gary Hall Jr. these days? He must be working at the trials, is he? There's a good harness race coming up there on Friday night there at Gloucester Park. Just having a look at the market there. We haven't got a market yet with Bet365 for that feature race, which of course is the JP Stratton Cup. But it is a terrific race. You've got obviously Mr. Smarty's drawn outside that second row. Mighty Ronaldo's drawn 11. Wave Rider 10, who took out the feature 4-year-old race, the Gold Nugget there the other day for Jack Callaghan and Ryan Bell. Penny Black, the mare that was unbelievable there in the Mares Classic at Group 1 level last Friday night. She's drawn gate number 1, but Minstrel's going to come up a short price favourite. He'll lead, dictate terms. I don't know how they beat him. Geez, he's a Sports, the stablemate to Minstrel. He's drawn gate number 3. Magnificent Storm might have a crack for the lead if Aidan DeCampo can light him up for Ray Williams. And Lavradro's drawn barrier number 8. But I think Minstrel will be able to kick up and lead and be mighty hard to beat there on Friday night. So the market should be out shortly there with Bet365. But yeah, he'll be a short price favourite. Not a bad meeting there at Gloucester Park on Friday night as we get set for the WA Pacing Cup, which is just on in a couple of weeks' time. And having a look at the market there, it's a difficult one for all-in betting there for the WA Pacing Cup because you got Minstrel at $3.50, Magnificent Storm at $4, and Mr. Smarty at $4. But whoever leads in a race like that will probably start odds on. So that's the punt that you take. Basically, if you can obviously get a draw in one of those races, that you're going to be a short price favourite. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what price Minstrel comes up there. Let's catch up with Pete Anthoness, our expert when it comes to WA racing, obviously after that barrier draw there of the Winterbottom Stakes. Hello to you, Pete.
G'day, Gareth.
What'd you make of the draw?
Look, it's been relatively favourable, I think, for a lot of the major chances, isn't it? So you're looking at Overpass and Joker's Grin. I don't think Joker's Grin has to get too far back from barrier 6. And look, Overpass, he's just drawn a dream, isn't he? There's not much speed in this race. I think he and probably Oscar's Fortune ends up breezing outside of him. Potentially Libertad might be able to kick up and hold his position as well just behind them. But it doesn't look like there's a great deal of pace early. So I think with the warm conditions forecast at this stage for Saturday, not particularly any sort of wind there at Ascot, it's going to be all up to how Overpass sets the tempo. And if he sets the right tempo, I think he's going to be very difficult to beat.
Josh Parr said it all. He's a better horse than he was in the autumn when he probably had one too many runs leading into a race like the Quokka. He's the same horse that saw him dominate a Winterbottom. And he's a good horse, Joker's Grin, but mathematically, geez, he's going to have to go out of this world and smash the clock if he's going to run past Overpass, if it pans out the way that I think everybody expects it to. And are you surprised that Overpass isn't favourite now with Bet365 with the setup expected?
I mean, it's probably a case of I'll need to wait until I get all my numbers through and I'll be able to assess it in full. It's looking like a very difficult race to bet into at this stage. I think it's almost a really good race to wait until the very, very late betting fluctuations are already apparent. We can get a good look at the track and go from there. But look, I am surprised to a certain degree that Overpass isn't favourite just purely off the map. I mean, Joker's Grin, if Joker's Grin gets the right back to follow, of course he's going to be making a huge launch there in the straight. But there has to be a chance that he's following a horse like, say, a Man Crush. Will William Pike drawn a couple wider? Will he try and slide in with Ray Magnerio and end up in front of Joker's Grin early? There's going to be a little bit of jockeying for positions. And meanwhile, Josh Parrs is going to be out leading because no one else is going to take him on in this field. So he can basically just lead them a merry dance and do what he likes. So it's not a bomb-proof map for Joker's Grin. You'd almost rather potentially he had drawn out, 8, 9, got a little bit further back, but then also be able to build momentum with a guaranteed 3 wide line. But look, Paddy Carberry will know this. I'm sure he's not going to be, dying wondering in a Group 1. He's more than aware of what's going to be happening in run. So if he has to extricate him a little bit early and sit 3 wide, no cover, we've seen that so far this preparation of 2 runs. Joker's Grin sat 3 wide, no cover and not really had the right angle into the straight and still been far too good. So look, it's going to be a fascinating race. I'm not sure it's a great betting race, but it's going to be a good race to watch.
It's a great betting race, Pete, because Overpass is a complete and utter moral in this year's Winterbottom Stakes because of the reasons you just explained. Unfortunately for a horse like Joker's Grin is that there's no enforcer in this race to really sit outside, or there's not even a horse that you would imagine can drag these horses into these contests with Overpass. There's a lot of sit sprinters in this race. So they probably need to rely on a bit of pace, and I don't know if they're going to get that. Like Ray McNero is a horse that needs one last crack at them. He has to be save, and then get that late split. Benedetta's sort of a similar story, I reckon. And Joker's Grin, he probably needs a horse to get going a little earlier than the others want to. So to me, it just looks like it's just a perfect setup for Overpass. And he's coming off a fourth in an Everest.
No, the form does look incredibly good from that perspective, doesn't it? And as you said, you've already alluded to it. I think they've worked him out in terms of he's a really good fresh horse.
Yeah.
You know, give him that 4 to 6 weeks off and just like let him go through. Apparently his track work during the week was anything.
Yeah.
So very different to last when he was seen in WA. And look, you know, the only potential fly in the ointment maybe in terms of pace, do they take a risk with rope them in and try and fire him forward?
Yeah.
Because is he going to be out sprinting these horses from the back of the field? He's very, very, very good with his turn of foot, but is he going to be beating all of them on the way home? Maybe the best play in this race is Oscar's Fortune in the place, because you know he'll be right there. And look, he's every chance of running a drum just from pure default. Like, he's going really well this prep. I've spoken about it a few times, and he just has to sit outside Overpass and you're getting a pretty reasonable price to find out. So maybe that's the best bet in this race.
I think Dion Luciani's got a point to prove after, of course, Pikey jumped off and Chris Parnham picks up that ride. I've only got a minute left, but no surprises there. William Pike's decided to ride King of Light in a northerly.
No surprises whatsoever, Gareth. Look, that Guineas, although it didn't rate particularly well, the last 200 metres, and that's what I'm focusing on for those horses going up in trip, just indicates that King of Light's going to love the 1800, and he hasn't shown any signs of a ceiling so far. So, look, it's an exciting horse. We know the 3-year-olds have a great record in the Northerly, so there's no reason why Willie wouldn't have been siding with the one and true favourite for that race.
Yes or no, does Cosmic Crusader win the railway if he run on Saturday after you've had a couple of days to think about it?
If he was in that race with that race shape and he had a barrier, he would have.
There you go. Hey, Pete, we'll catch up with you during the week. I'm at Ascot tomorrow for the next couple of days. So we'll catch up with you from there, mate.
Looking forward to it.
There's Pete Anthonys, and that is the best from the West on this Wednesday morning. Time for the news.
Good morning. Making SEN News headlines. Essendon's Zach Merritt has stepped down as the club's skipper following a botched trade attempt. Fears public service jobs are on the line after federal departments and agencies have been ordered to find ways to streamline. Heavy rainfall has caused deadly flooding in Thailand that's claimed 19 lives. Authorities have deployed helicopters to rescue residents and tourists. And the Bureau of Statistics has added new questions to next year's census related to gender and sexuality, as well as how we travel to work. Coming up next, sen.com.au sport. Australia has been placed in the second highest pot for next year's FIFA World Cup. It means the Socceroos won't be grouped with powerhouses Colombia, Croatia, Uruguay or Japan, who are all in the top 20. And Chelsea has defeated Barcelona 3-0 in the UEFA Champions League, and Manchester City suffering a shock loss to Leverkusen, going down 2-0.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Been a busy hour so far. Great to catch up with this man, Josh Rodder from the MRC. Hello to you, Josh.
Good morning, Gareth, and good morning to all the listeners.
I tell you what, this is a ripper card on Saturday.
It is. Back in the day, it was one big meeting the week after Flemington with the zipping and the Sandown Giddies and things, but Racing Victoria and, ourselves, MRC and Southside have really looked to make a statement around November and continue the roll out of what's been a fantastic spring carnival. It's always a great card, with the 7 or 8 stakes races, and there looks to be some good depth to all the races. The intriguing race is the Melbourne Classic, our first running of the race, which gives an opportunity for this second wave of 3-year-olds to get up over a middle distance before they freshen up to maybe Adelaide or Brisbane or even Sydney, and different gravy to his rivals there on Saturday.
And there's so many good horses also going around, and there's an interesting 2-year-old as well. You got the Clip Stakes over the 1,800 metres, where you get to see horses like Kingswood, who would have been competitive, I reckon, in a Northerly in WA if he went down that path. Poison Chalice, you got Casino 17, a Perth Cup winner, Detonator Jack, Unspoken for Peter Snowden. So that's a good little race. And then the Zipping Classic. Light Infantry Man's a great addition to this race this year over the 2,400 metres. He's going to be awfully hard to beat, surely.
Yeah, last year's Northerly Stakes winner, interestingly enough, topping the weights there. And it's good to see Kovalica, surprising, never raced at Caulfield before. He won his spot in the Caulfield Cup by winning the Q22 in the Brisbane Winter Carnival, didn't take his place in the Caulfield Cup. He galloped here on Tuesday and looked really nice under the riding of Bo Mertens, who's a jockey really riding well. So good to see Bo with the opportunity riding Kovalica there in the Zipping. Graham Beck's got some well-placed horses, including Ruska Roma, She's a Hustler and Royal Insignia. I think the best out of those three in terms of the barrier draws there on Saturday looks to be She's a Hustler, is drawn inside in 3. Craig Williams looks to be real purpose around this race here. It's been a target race, I think, for this mare. And reading in the media during the week, if she can run well or take out this race, maybe we might see her in a Caulfield Cup in 12 months' time. So, Royal Insignia, tricky, drawn inside, and also Ruska Roma. It'd be nice to see Ruska Roma use the barrier draw and be up, up just behind the speed. In that Twilight Glow, really keen to see Jenny go bonkers up to stakes level. I saw her trial here at Caulfield last month. She's a beautiful type, strong daughter of Maurice, and she was dominant, winning at Pakenham, her maiden last start. So, as you said, Gareth, there's a really good spread across the card and some real interest. And we know punters, when they're doing the form, looking at these stakes races, you can really get a feel. And if you really like one, bet with confidence.
100%. Anything from track work on Tuesday morning that caught your eye?
I think, all the horses worked well. It was an interesting Vestas, Ben Mallam, Clinton McDonald had the blinkers on.
Yes.
So the blinkers will go on race day. Don't think they'll be happy with the draw. She's drawn inside, I think, in gate 2. She's going to need some luck, but the blinkers do go on. So hopefully that has the desired effect there on Saturday with Vestas in the Doveton.
And what about the track conditions? I know it's only Wednesday, but what are you expecting?
Well, Mother Nature's been kind to us, Gareth. We had a heap of rain over Saturday night into Sunday morning. So that's really given the chance for the water to get down through the foundations and of the track. And we've just had a shower come through Caulfield. So it doesn't look to be too much fine weather heading into the weekend. Sort of overcast, a couple of showers here and there. It was a good 4 at 6 a.m. I think that rain that's just come through will probably keep it in that lower end of a good 4. So hoping we're a good 4 race morning and we can hold that throughout the day and give every horse their chance. I think it's a credit to Sam Bennett and his team, the whole track team here. We've had a lot of changes throughout the year. And, if you go back earlier in the year, we were a bit concerned about the Caulfield track, but Sam's done a fantastic job and it's raced terrifically throughout the carnival. We go to 9 metres there on Saturday. That's a meeting that, 9 metres. So I think the track will race well and it has all the carnival. I can't see why it won't continue to.
Bring it on. Looking forward to Saturday. We appreciate your time.
Launch.
Yes, launch. What's your best for Saturday again? If I gave you $100, what would you do with it?
Let me have a think. I was keen if Vestas had drawn out, but that barrier's got me a little bit worried.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Alibaba and the 2-year-old.
Okay.
I know he did a bit wrong in that trial, but he's a nice type of 2-year-old by Alabama Express. Craig Williams takes the ride. I think Craig's had some influence on Ken running the horse in this Mercy Cooper, and it's always been a good sign for 2-year-olds moving forward. So I have $100 on Alibaba.
Beautiful.
Go Team Keys.
Go and get it, mate. Appreciate that, Josh.
Thanks, Gareth.
There we go. It's 10:38. We'll take a break. We'll come back with Bag of Tips.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Giddy Up bag of tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
Time to find you some winners with bag of tips, all thanks to Bet365. Top Tote Plus, you'll get the best payout across all three national totes. What's gambling really costing you? Also, thanks to the Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer. And Oz Equipment Rentals, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com. Now, Jimmy Dalton joins us because there's been a little rain around Geelong today. I wonder if it's hit the racetrack. G'day, Jimmy. Thanks for your time.
Morning, Gareth. No, any time. How you going?
Good, thanks, mate. What's the weather conditions like there at Geelong?
Believe it or not, it missed us. If you look at the radar,
unbelievable.
You'd say, how did that actually miss? But certainly it did. So, yeah, we're on a good four surface. I spoke to the Bureau a bit last night, and they were always sort of, 2 to 5 you should get. And obviously it's a difficult job as well. But I put out 2.5 millimetres, so we're on a good four. And another 2 or 3 millimetres would have just sort of made us genuine four and kept us there. But just with missing all that and the strong westerly getting up, I'd suggest we'd probably get to the 3 at some point, especially being a 340 race 1 and those strong westerlies blowing in today.
So what does that mean from a pattern perspective there? If we get to a good 3 with those strong westerlies, where do you want to be at Geelong?
Oh, look, a cup day and the meetings sort of prior to it are a good example, I reckon, in that I thought you'd probably want cover westerly hitting you in the face on the turn, but I think just any wind, sometimes horses just don't like it at all and don't sort of let down. So I'd suggest you just want to be on speed. Whether you have cover or not, I don't know, but those first 3 races on Geelong Cup Day with a similar wind, they were all quite on pace. So if that's something to go by, that's what I would be looking at, the horses on speed, most certainly.
Beautiful, mate. All right, then how strong will these winds get there today?
Oh, they're sort of 40 to 50, which isn't a danger for us.
No.
We've got good precedents now, unfortunately, from Cup Day, but we're pretty well versed now on what the parameters are. And look, it's not a nice wind, but it's not to put the meeting in any danger.
Geez, you can't take a trick with the wind when it comes to a race meeting at Geelong anymore, can you?
Oh, we've had a shocker. Hopefully the gods are on us for our Christmas party race day and also our big Super Saturday in early Jan.
All right, Jimmy, thanks for that update, mate. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Gareth. Thank you.
There we go. There's Jimmy Dalton from Geelong from RaceNet. Brad Waters joins us now to preview this meeting. G'day, Brad. Thanks for your time, mate.
Yeah, good morning, Gareth. The wind condition sort of makes it a bit harder.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, 40 to 50 must have been in behind the storm front that rolled through the western Melbourne this morning. But there's 8 winners to be found.
Interesting now where Lamosa gets to, this favourite in the first race. At $2.60, she is with Bet365. Up you go at $4.40. Then last card, Louis, at $5 with Bet365 and Scorpion Bay at $9. How do you see the first?
Well, I think I've got Lamosa on top, but it's not one where you'd have a lot of confidence considering it might be one just to have a look at.
Yep, all right then. So that's Lamosa around $2.60. Could be a play there. Then we go to have a look at race number 2 on the program. And this race, of course, the scratchings, you can take out Lightfield, the 6. This is another interesting race, a maiden for the 3-year-old fillies. You've got Silent Answer that was pretty good on debut. It's currently at $2.90. And then we go to Venetian Choice at $2.90 and Boomeroo is a $3.50 chance. How do you read this race?
I think the market has probably got the right 3 in order, but I've just got the racehorse Silent Answer on top. I thought the run at Cranbourne was pretty good and will improve off that and can get home with the benefit of a bit more race experience. Yeah,
so that's for the Philip Stokes camp, that daughter of Written Tycoon, and she is the favourite, the 8. Do you have numbers there, mate, or are you just standing at 8 out? Have you got...
Well, I've got 8, 3, 6 and 10. 6 is out, sorry. I've got 8, 3 and 10. But 8, 3 and 10, they seem to have an advantage over the rest, I would have thought.
Yeah. All right then, mate. We'll go to race number 3. Animals are scratching, along with Wings and Propellers and also the 12 Mission of Joy in this third race. Just having a look at the market here with Bet365. You got Lady Verity at $1.55. She's the shortest price favourite of the day. She's been well supported as well. Obviously, there's a few deductions with those scratchings, but it's been a good go on her. Jade Trees at $7 has had a little bit of support. And then you go out to a horse like Red Baron has been solid enough at $12. So are you with this odds-on favourite?
I've got it on top. I thought the two runs last time in were really good, and the jump outs recently have been pretty good. I actually thought Cuisine number 9 could throw in a bit of value. I like the jump outs in its first campaign for the McAvoy camp, and you can't leave out a horse like Jade Trees as well. Red Baron's an interesting runner because he hasn't raced for a year, so but the jump outs have been perfectly fine. So just keep an eye on the market moves on him. But I've got 11 ahead of 9 and 2 in that one.
Yep, so 11, 9 and 2 there in race number 3 on the card. We'll move on to the fourth race at Geelong today, and the scratchings here. Formidable Force comes out for Kylie Valor, so only a field of 6 going around now for this fourth race. Favourite here, National Code at $3.20. It's been solid enough. Next Step, Iowa at $3.20. And then you go to Grand Terry, that's had a little bit of support at $5 as well.
Yeah, I've got the 6 in it, but I'd give 5 of them a chance in this race. I think it's maybe the hardest race of the day, but I do think it's a good quality race. I thought Grand Terre was most impressive at Mildura. Yeah. Interestingly, the 4-year-olds had a stable change to Kylie Valor, which is pretty rare that you win so well and get the stable change, but there's obviously some sort of really good story behind that. But I thought the recent jump outs were pretty good, and the scratching of the stablemate is a bit of a lead because I thought the Formidable Force jumped out well as well. But I've got Grand Terre ahead of it, ahead of Next Step Iowa, National Code, and anything could win this race. It's a real difficult race.
It's a difficult race, isn't it? It's a competitive affair. So 2, 6 and 5 your numbers there in race number 4. Well, hey, we'll take a quick break here, Brad. On the other side of it, we'll go through the quaddy legs at Geelong.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We're previewing Geelong here, Bet365 Geelong on a Wednesday afternoon. Brad Waters from RaceNet is joining me to go through this card. Hopefully we can find you a few winners. We're up to race number 5, first leg of the quaddie over the 1,300 metres. And this is Emerging Stars Series Heat. Black Coal, the 1 is out along with the 5, 6 and 13. 2 Tough and Trojan King come out. And also Starika is also out. 10 Warriors for Trevor Rogers and Jamie Mott's the favourite at $3.20. Storm Leopard at $3.60. Golden Spritz at $7. And then you go out to a horse, Leverage Buyout, that's had good support for Stackhouse and the Freedmans at $8.50 here, Brad.
Yeah, I'm going a little wider than that because this is a very difficult race. I thought Habitual could run a pretty good race.
Yeah.
Number 3 was very consistent last time in and jumped out well at Kyneton the other day. Storm Leopard's another one that moved very well at the jump out to Hayes Horse, so that explains why he's so short in the market. And then the other one was where are we? At number 12. That's I Think I'm a Celebrity. Was good on debut at Wodonga for Simon Zara's camp, and should get every chance from barrier 2. And 10 Warriors is another one that has to go in. He's most consistent in town as well. He's run better races, run good races in deep, better maidens than this, and should be thereabouts.
So this is a good little race. 3, 11, 12 and 10. Habitual at $15, your tip at a great each-way price. Race number 6 is a benchmark 62. Leon Coy's the favourite at $2.80. He's been scratched there the other day when it was a winnable race, but save for this race at Geelong, it's been well supported as well. Jenny and Tibia is at $6. Reliable Joe at $8. And then Sorbet at $8 here. This favourite does get back, so they want to be running home today.
Yeah, I'm just listening to the summary of the track conditions. I do think that it may present a little issue for Leon Croy, but look, it's a big enough field with was it 14 in it, so there might be enough speed with Reliable Joe and those sort of horses going forward, which could create enough pressure. But Eagle Angel's one for me, that number 1 there. I thought it was a pretty good effort first up, and that was over 2,400. So he's staying in the trip second up and would be a lot fitter for that, and could be a decent each way value.
All right, then. So let's just, what are your numbers there? Just recap your numbers.
Number 1, Eagle Angel ahead of Leon Croy, who's going well and is knocking on the door. And the other one is Sorbet, who number 11, who might be looking for this trip now after some, probably 3 or 4 good efforts leading up to this race.
Let's have a look at race number 7 on the program there. And you've got Barbaric Lad at $3.60, Dirty Grin at $4.50, and Sparkling $50 here. Good little race. Even some money for Chalut there at $8.
Yeah, even the scratchings that have come out, there was 5 scratchings out of the race, so you've got, 8 in it, but it's going to be a tricky little tactical race. I think Sparkling might be able to improve on her first up run at Caulfield, and her stats over the 1,200 are very, very good, so I think she can improve. The other one's Dirty Grin, always around the mark in races like this, and he's first up, but he won well first up last time in, and he must go in as well. Number 5 was Ikasara, the Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. No luck at Caulfield behind Gracie's Reign, and she can improve sharply. And the other one's Barbaric Lad, who you can't leave out either. So it's a pretty deep race, and that's being a bit harsh on Chalut, who's done nothing wrong this time in. But numbers are 1, 5, 7 and 8. 8, 1, 5 and 7.
Yeah, 8, 1, 5 and 7 in race number 7. We'll take the news, then we'll come back and have a look at Geelong today.
Hello there, I'm Nate Gardner with SEN News. Sporting integrity detectives have charged a fifth man over the 2021 and 22 Brownlow betting scandal. Former AFL umpire Michael Pell is among four men charged previously over alleged suspicious gambling on the Brownlow counts. A 34-year-old man has now been charged with 21 offences in relation to the awards. Australia's inflation rate, due to be released soon, is expected to rise when the latest consumer price figures are unveiled, dashing hopes of an interest rate cut. It's being blamed on electricity prices as energy rebates continue to wind back. Meantime, inflation data will be released monthly from now on instead of quarterly. The opposition leader has accused the government of mismanaging the budget after directing its departments to find savings. While the Treasurer says it's about reprioritising spending, Susan Lee has told the ABC it doesn't look good.
Labor promised that there wouldn't be any cuts. They made that promise before the last election. So are they backing away from the promise, or have things got so bad since the election that they actually have to address savings as a matter of urgency?
The results of the Australian election study show Labor was seen by voters this year as a better economic manager than the Coalition for the first time. Peter Dutton was the least popular leader on record in the survey's 38-year history. And Sir Richard Branson has announced the death of his wife Joan at the age of 80. Coming up, sen.com.au sport. Zach Merritt has stepped down as Essendon skipper after a failed trade request to move to Hawthorn. The 30-year-old says it's been an absolute honour to be the 41st captain of the Essendon Football Club over the past 3 years. Popular defender Andrew McGrath is tipped to be his replacement. And just 3 matches of NBA on today, with the Wizards and Hawks game underway.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. It's 3 minutes past 11. We'll continue on Bag of Tips thanks to Bet365, Oz Equipment Rentals, and also, of course, the mighty Ultima Hotel. Brad Waters from RaceNet's with me as we preview this Geelong meeting on a Wednesday afternoon. We're on a good 4. There's a strong possibility we'll get to a good 3 with strong westerly winds today. They reckon they might get up to 50 Ks. So it's going to be difficult, I reckon, to make up some ground there at Geelong. In the last race, you can scratch the 2 Lethal Thoughts. The 4, 5, 9 and 15 also come out. So 2, 4, 5, 9 and 15 are the scratchings. Market with Bet365 had see-through at $3.60, leg drive at $4.20. Fiasco tests at $7 and then Val's Machine at $7.50. Weather delay at $8 and only Gold Will Do at $8.50. The rest are at double figures here, Brad, in the last.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish to the day with See-Through having the form line through Zambado. But that race was on the 1st of October, so it's 7 weeks since that run. But his form's pretty good. But I've just gone with Fiasco Test in the last. I thought the run on heavy ground first up was pretty good. Gets to the best her favourite trip, and the firmer ground should only help it.
Yep. So there we go. Fiasco Test around $7 and $2.40 there for Matty Laurie. A good each way price. What are your other numbers there in the last meet?
Well, I've got see-through as a, if there's money for him, you can back him as a saver. So I've got 110 3-leg drive is also worth throwing in, and a horse like Valor's Machine, number 12, can improve off dropping back in class from a Flemington run.
So 1, 10, 3 and 12 in that final event. Race 7 numbers there were 1, 8, 5 and 7 for Brad. What's your best bet?
I thought Silent Answer was my best. Race 2, number 8, going on her first up run was very good, and she'll be much better for the race experience.
So race 2, number 8. Have you value play there today?
Value play is race 6, number 1, Eagle Angel, at about $13. Fitter for the first up run, and should another one that should improve.
That'll do us, mate. Do you have any quaddie numbers for us today?
Yep. Quaddie, we'll have to go a little wider today, and probably best we do with the windy conditions. First leg, 2, 3, 4, 11 and 12.
Yep.
Second leg, 1, 4, 9, 11.
Yes.
Third leg, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8.
Yep.
And the last leg, we have got 1, 3 and 10.
1, 3, 10. So 2, 3, 4, 11 and 12 first leg. 1, 4, 9, 11 second leg, 1, 3, 5, 7 and 8 third leg, and then we come home with the 3 horses, 1, 3 and 10 in the final leg. Good on you, mate. We really appreciate you coming on with that preview, Brad.
All good. Thank you.
There's Brad Waters from RaceNet. Just having a look at the other venue today, or the other major meeting around the country. It's a provincial meeting, of course, as we go to Wyong. We're on a good 4 there at the moment. There might be an upgrade there because it is a hot day in Sydney town, and Mickey Gadden likes race 4, number 5, Carrot, and race 7, number 5, Presley. So race 4, number 4, race 7, number 5. And Dean Watling's done the form for us, thanks to Betsy's. Dino, hello to you.
Morning, G. How are you?
Good, thank you, mate. Where do we start with your plays?
Well, I agree with Gano, which is always nice. Race 4, number 4, I Am Carrot, is the best of the day. It's been absolutely hammered in the market. I think you get $2.20 this morning. It's into about $1.60, I see, but was really good first up behind Dorito. There at Gosford. The race wasn't run to suit. City Sprint and didn't really that horse. But Alpine Trip now home deck. I think race 4, number 4 is a bet. And we look to go back to back, G. I think the value bet of the day, race 5, number 8, Sapling. Favourite's hard enough to beat, but Sapling's got some good form, good trials, and should find the 1-1. So I thought that horse was well and truly over the odds in race number 5 as well.
Beautiful. So what's your very best, mate?
Very best, race 4, number 4, I Am Carrot, but I'll be back in race 5, number 8, Sapling as well, G. Hopefully a little home track double there for the theme.
Good on you, brother. Thanks for that, Dino.
Thanks, G, man.
Luke Ovanessian also at Wine likes Lune de Excellence, race 4, number 9, and Myriad, race 5, number 10. So race 4, number 9, race 5, number 10. You can check out racingqueensland.com.au for where Queensland is racing today. Daniel Nuttall at Ipswich likes race 4, number 8, Party Spirit, and race 6, number 5, Ivy Dexterous. So race 4, number 8, race 6, number 5. We'll catch up with Terry Lairton shortly. Should say we've got that meeting at Geraldton today in the West. You can find your next Kiwi winner at loveracing.nz. Tuaroa is the venue there. Mark Clayton's about to join us. He's with us now. G'day, Mark. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. What are we doing on a Wednesday afternoon there in New Zealand?
What are we doing on a Wednesday afternoon? We're going through to Wednesday night over here. Just about twilight. It's our last 7 o'clock New Zealand time. So,
okay.
Yeah, take your pyjamas. And I think we're going to wait to the best for last, Gareth.
Yes.
Race 10, number 16, Miriam. I noticed her at Ellerslie. It was their third run in this time. She's still a bit fresh going out onto the track and gave a rider a bit of a handful. But I talked to Stephen Orchard and she put in a massive effort and run third. And I said to Steve, I thought she'd run a race before they got to the gates. But he said, yeah, no, she gets so I think she'll go back to back at Waiata. And if we wanted to kick things off a bit earlier in race 6, we have got some really good maiden fields today. Gee, some of those fields are really strong, but race 6, and she's been taken on Golden Wings of late, and some really good maiden fields. And I'm looking at 9, Fleeting Star.
Yep.
It's a nice low gate with Vuramu Pin, and I think 380 is pretty good money for her.
Yep, so that's Fleeting Star for Young Pin at $3.80. So race 10, number 16, race 9, number 7, and race 6, number 9 there at Te Aroha today.
That's correct. And if you're taking the same race, Molly, with Fleeting Star, that's Gold's been hitting the 9 really nicely of late.
Yeah.
And look, the horse deserves to win because I noticed one of my old school teachers involved in the ownership, old Murray Gibb, and I tell you what, I was a shit of a kid. And he deserves every success that comes his way. I'm surprised he still talks to me, but I know nothing about chemistry, but I knew the best bets from front to cover. I knew the breeding and the owners of every horse in that block, but I couldn't tell you what H plus 2 plus O equals that. In fact, that's the only one I know.
Thanks for that, brother. Well, Clado, I'm glad that you've been able to get you've got A pluses and distinctions there with your ability to analyse New Zealand form in the thoroughbred game. So well done, Clado. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth. Good on you. Have a good day.
At Geraldton today, we're going to play a couple. I reckon Jimmy Taylor's horse, Viva McConey, can win. So that's race 2, number 2 there. And we're also playing race 4, number 3, Queen of Hawks. That's what the Western Whisperer was yesterday. So race 4, number 3, we can play that horse there. And one at an each way price a little later on, Devine and Anna. That's race 6, number 7 at Geraldton, race 6, number 7. For the latest on Hong Kong racing, go to hkjc.com. We're at Happy Valley tonight. Hello to you, Tom Wood.
Morning, Gareth.
What are we doing tonight, mate?
We'll go Class 5 as the best tonight. David Hayes, Hugh Bowman, race 2, number 1, Star Bros. Caught the eye from a long way back in the field last start. That was from a wide draw. Should be a lot handier here, one would think, Star Bros. And Hugh Bowman, of course, looking to secure a slot in the International Jockeys Championship. That'll complete tonight. Those confirmed spots will be nailed down this evening. So he's race 2, number 1, Star Bros. Race 3, number 5, Never Settle. Ran a strong race first up at 38 to 1, and he should come on for that for Vincent Ho. Race 3, number 5, Never Settle. And race 6, number 5, Meowth. Ran home strongly from back in the field last time out. Only a one-time winner, but there was certainly signs that he's about to return to some form. Race 6 at number 5, Meowth.
So race 2, number 1, race 3, number 5, and race 6, number 5. Your tips there tonight, mate. What'd you make of the weekend? What a weekend it was.
Yeah, it certainly was. Obviously, Romantic Warrior, and you got $1.40 about him here on the tote, and he was too strong for Voyage Bubble. Kaying Rising was so impressive. That was probably one of his best ever performances, I feel, over the weekend. Kaying Rising, and then of course the mile ranks. Well, they look to be wide open now, and we'll find out those selected runners for the international races a little bit later on this afternoon. I think the Voyage Bubble Camp, Ricky Yu connections, you'll see him, I think, in both the mile and the cup at this stage. They're still deciding what path they want to take.
Yeah, surely the 1,600 metres after watching it on Sunday, but time will tell.
I tend to agree.
Good on you. Thanks for that, Tom. There's Tom Wood there. Now, harness racing today and tonight, there's a couple of meetings in Victoria. Darren Carroll likes race 6, number 6, Destiny's Kept, and race 9, number 4, Cheers Poverty, race 6, number 6, race 9, number 4, and at Bendigo, race 2, number 7, Pick Up Elvis, and race 3, number 1, Wicked Mitzi. So race 2, number 7, race 3, number 1. And Harness Racing New South Wales, a home of the Carnival of Cups, where Australian music royalty meets quality harness racing action. Amanda Rando likes race 1, number 9, Something for Lexi, race 3, number 9, Seaside Delight, race 4, number 9, Paz to Chevelle, and race 5, number 9, Smooth Buzz. So race 1, number 9, race 3, number 9, race 4, number 9, and race 5, number 9. And at Cannington tonight, Brett Honey likes race 5, number 2, Just a Foreman, and race 8, number 5, West On Model. So race 5, number 2, race 8, number 5. 15 minutes past 11, that is Bag of Tips. We'll talk some greyhounds next with the weekly chase with Jason Adams and Georgie Ferrugia as we continue the build-up to the biggest night of greyhound racing on Saturday night at Sandown with the running of the Melbourne Cup and also the Bold Tree.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Time for the Weekly Chase with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
It's time for the Weekly Chase as we talk greyhound racing with Georgie Ferrugia and also Jason Adams. Let's welcome in the team here. First of all, to you, Jace. Welcome to Melbourne Cup Week.
Yes, welcome to Melbourne Cup Week. It's a big build-up, and I mean, we saw a great night of entertainment with the heats on Saturday night, where as much as we don't have a final that is stacked with some of the biggest names in the game, when they slip up, others fill the void and still run fast time. The depth of the heats was superb. So very even final in which we've got in front of us this week.
That's the best part, Georgie Ferrugia, as I say hello to you. He just keeps on dominating, doesn't he, Jace?
Oh, I would have loved to see the scenes in Malta on Saturday night, Gareth. It would have been pumping, and they'll be keen for the Cup this week with George.
Zipper on time a length. Valenzuela's right there. Aston Raider 2 lengths away. Zipper on time in front.
Anyway.
Valenzuela's coming on the outside. Valenzuela gets there. Valenzuela.
So what did you do? You're on
in.
air, right, Georgie? You're on there.
Yeah.
So how do you react? What's it like?
Because obviously they're showing the race, I sort of just gave a fist pump and then said to the guys, I need a photo with the dog. So I just sort of took off for about 5 minutes. But they were fine. It was a big thrill, Gaz.
And just before we move on from that, Gareth, and George has pulled out from the coverage this Saturday night.
Have you really?
So I'm not having a go at him for this because I think the answer's going to be really good. But why did you make that decision?
Honestly, my dad rang me the morning and said, I really want to be there, and his mobility's not great. That's my excuse, and I'm taking Cheryl and the kids up. So,
no, it's no excuse.
Yeah, I know.
Good
So I
reason.
just thought, you know what, a lot of people were in my ear saying, you just got to go and enjoy the day. You don't know when you're going to be in a Melbourne Cup again, which is absolutely true. So
You're the face of greyhound racing. You got to be there for the coverage, Georgie, and provide your insights.
back for the Phoenix.
Oh, unbelievable.
For Cumbria Jack.
That's how big
your
you've
favourite
got
dog.
these days. You just pick and choose when you want to work.
I had to do it. I'm
The rock star, Georgie. So, in all seriousness, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm been really calm, to be honest. I'll have a few beers on the day, but nothing I can do, Gareth. We're in a good box. If he loses, it's, clearly, Jace will tell you, he's not the fastest dog in the race, not by any means. So there's a little bit of pressure off. He just needs to jump really well to sort of feature, in that first corner, Jace, but...
Is this your first Melbourne Cup runner?
No, second.
Second.
Yeah.
Strike a Light?
I had Strike a Light. She had box 8 and Aston DB won from here to the studios downstairs in that race. So,
Well, box number 8, basically, you're out of play, aren't you, really?
Well, it was funny. Last week, I don't think a greyhound won from outside 5. Dashing Sleigh won off box 5, and 6, 7 and 8 put paid to a lot of greyhounds' chances, including yours, Gareth, Traumatised, who tried to jump all right and then just got fanned off on that first corner and had no hope.
I think when we speak about the depth of these heats, when you got very little separating these dogs, it is bloody hard to cross.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are, it is hard to cross good animals.
Every single dog in this field, Gareth, is capable of running low 5 seconds, I think, possibly. Maybe Dacey's Rory is maybe a touch behind them, but at his best he could. So, the margin for error, Gareth, is so small.
That's the beauty about the Melbourne Cup. Like, this time last year, we were talking about one of the greatest ever Melbourne Cup fields. All of the big guns qualified, and they were smashing the clock in terrific races. This year, there were some unlucky runners. There were some disappointments as well, and there was a few surprises. But I reckon that's what makes the Melbourne Cup so great, is that you have to rock up 2 weeks in a row, and you need a little bit of luck, of course. But if you want to win the greatest race of all time in greyhound racing, you need to have some luck, but you need to turn up on both Saturdays.
Yeah, and as hard as it is to win it, it's still open to everyone. I mean, we love the Phoenix, and this is no knock on it, but it's just it's handpicked and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's one of the great events in the sport. But this Melbourne Cup edition, I think, underlines how much it is open to everyone. I mean, we go back to 2020, Gareth, when you were in full flight with Shimmer Shine, Hardstyle Rico, Simon Solid Helen. I mean, these
Tommy
sort of
Shelby.
dogs. Tommy Shelby in a Melbourne Cup final.
What
It's
a
very
field.
different this time around, but it underlines the opportunity of anyone being able to win this race.
And last year we had explicit guys, right, who was on the precipice of becoming the superstar he is. I mean, he was always a very good dog, but the way he finished, winning a Phoenix and a Melbourne Cup was incredible.
He jumped over him. I watched that replay. It was the Melbourne Cup last year.
Schillaci led them, really, in that race,
It was Sunset Frazier who he jumped over.
Yeah, and Sunset Frazier went enormous in the heat, like smashed the clock. And then he had so much pressure on him explicit because Jason Thompson talked him up as the greatest greyhound that he's ever trained. And that's saying something from a Hall of Fame trainer.
He'd failed in big ones in the lead-up.
Correct. He just couldn't get the job done. And we're saying, hang on a sec. If he's going to be great, he has to win our great races. And there was pressure involved with Jason Thompson and the Thompson family. And then he went bang, bang to win a Melbourne Cup and a Phoenix. But I was watching and I thought he needed some luck from box 6 and he jumped over the top of him, and then down the back it was game over.
Yeah, he only needed a really small amount of luck and then it was over. And
amount, he did get he got a bit of luck.
Yeah, he was still very good. And then off the Phoenix, off box 8, he was just terrific. So yeah, you're right. It's an open race. As you touched on Monday, Gareth, there's some great narratives to this. I think the Ned McDonald story's a really good one, considering his background with his dad, who won the race on multiple occasions. I think Rob Pilotta, he said on the RSN, on the racing.com coverage, that he's owned dogs for decades, but probably only started training greyhounds for the last couple of years, and now he's got a Melbourne Cup finalist with a tremendous amount of early speed. So there's a great deal of
We'll go
stories.
through each dog and see if they've got a chance here. We'll go in racebook order, you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
You kick off proceedings.
All right, so we've got Georgie's boy and Valenzuela from box
Yes.
1. So look, George knows him better than anyone, but for me, he's a greyhound who it can be a little bit hit or miss. His best is very good, but you couldn't rely on him to spear to the front or anything like that. So for him to have a chance to win this race, he needed an inside draw, and he's come up with box 1. So as much as he's unlikely to show as much early speed as some of these others, I think Kenya Mayhem in 2 puts him into the race pretty easily.
$4, is that a unders or overs for this greyhound?
Look, he'd probably be 10 if he was drawn sort of 5 or wider. So the draw's massive for him.
Boxers win your Melbourne Cups, Georgie.
Yeah, he just needs to nail the start. His last 2 weeks, he's gone 5.03 and 5.06, and he just needs to push up because the pressure is going to be immense for sure.
Yeah. Have you seen him this week?
No.
Have you gone and seen him?
No. I will leave. I'll leave the trainers do their thing, and
you go and whisper in his ear,
and we'll go from there.
Uncle Marzi turning up?
Oh hell no.
You don't really like talking about your own dogs, do you?
No, I don't.
Why?
No, it's just I don't believe in jinxes or anything. I don't want to. I genuinely think there are 5 or 6 quicker dogs than him at their best. So he's going to have to get it right.
This sort of chat got him into trouble not long ago, Gareth.
What happened?
When we had grey areas on RSN, he was sort of sat on the fence at times about his own dogs, and they'd get up at good odds, and we got right into him. So, maybe he's a bit gun shy because of that.
Waiting for John Henry to storm through this.
Yeah,
this studio.
he's downstairs, John. He's probably listening at the moment. Well,
all right.
Should you be like if you're talking to your mates these days and the Victorian cricketers that love you, Georgie? Are we backing your dog or not? Are you believing?
Look, I think if he runs a 5.03 or a 5.04, I think he puts himself right in the firing line.
Yeah.
But we don't want Accredited ahead of us. We don't want Dashing Slay ahead of us. We're just not going to run it down. Look, credit where credit's due. His run down Zipper on time was very good. To come off the speed and still run 29-20 odd was fantastic. So we're proud of him.
Let's have a look at number 2, Kenya Mayhem. This is a great story. We had Jess Hopkins on Monday, and she's over the moon.
Yeah.
And she's basically similar to your story, George. Like, he's probably not the most brilliant dog, but he's doing everything right and he's in good form at the right time of the year, and he gets box 2.
I know what you thought, Jace, but I thought the pressure was on him from box 1 and from that Cranbourne Cup where everyone said that he sort of shifted off a little bit. I thought he held his line brilliantly and chased his ring off around the back and was too good for him. And what a time to bring up your PB as well. So he's a massive chance.
He's gutsy. He runs fast early splits. Jess will have him cherry ripe. So, yeah, he's right in the race. I mean, it feels a bit odd to see him as favourite for a dog of which he is, but, I mean, it's that sort of race. So he'll be right in it.
Do you know what Jess needs? She needs Kenya All Class and Kenya Mayhem, and she needs to combine them together and have Kenya All Class's speed at the back end.
Then you've got the fastest dog in Australia who finds trouble.
Kenya Mayhem to jump with Kenya All Class's finishing power.
Be one hell of a dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll take the news. Any question for George or Jace, let us know. 0499 736 736. A few flowing in as we speak. We'll come back and have a look at Accredited, who is the equal second favourite for the Melbourne Cup. We'll discuss his chances for young Ned McDonald next.
Hello, making SEN News headlines. The Albanese government seeks an explanation from Snapchat after its AI bot was found passing on incorrect information about the under-16 social media ban. Peter Dutton, the least popular leader on record in the Australian election survey's 38-year history. The results also show Labor was seen by voters this year as a better economic manager than the coalition for the first time. Jail time and increased fines said to be introduced for dodgy NDIS providers. And Sir Richard Branson has announced the death of his wife Joan at the age of 80. Up next, SEN Sport. Zach Merritt has stepped down as Essendon skipper after a failed trade request to move to Hawthorn. The 30-year-old says it's been an absolute honour to be the 41st captain of the Essendon Football Club over the past 3 years. Popular defender Andrew McGrath is tipped to be his replacement. And just 3 matches of NBA on today, with the Wizards and Hawks game underway.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. 0499 736 736 for the Greyhound fans out there, or you want a question regarding this year's Melbourne Cup, the Sports Holy Grail, and of course the Bold Trease. The Bold Trease, the premier staying event of the year as well in the country?
No, it'll be the Sandown Cup.
Is he up?
From a prize money point of view, the 7.15 in New South Wales. So it's up there because
it's on Melbourne
racing
Cup
at that
night.
level for stayers isn't sort of a big bag of lollies. There's not many opportunities. So yeah, it's right up there, but not the pinnacle.
Accredited won a Hume Cup over 1,600 or 600 metres. Jumped brilliantly there last Saturday night. He gets box 3. How does he win this year's Melbourne Cup here, Jace?
Well, he's just got to replicate it.
Yeah,
I mean,
$4 at the moment with
I think
Bet365.
I think he's under the odds. I mean, he's in an absolute purple patch at the moment. He had an inside draw, which he capitalised on in the Hume Cup. He then had a good draw in his Melbourne Cup heat. Prior to this purple patch, George, you wouldn't look at him and think he's a reliable beginner. So I don't know whether to expect what he's done lately in the final this week or place expectations on him from what he's done for most of his career. So I just think for a dog like him who hasn't been this faultless beginner for most of his career, at some point he's going to come back to the pack, and the pressure in this race is going to be relentless.
Just the confidence thing, Jason. Is he going to transform for another week? I think Ned McDonald mentioned that on racing.com numerous occasions. He's just a hit or miss type of beginner. But is he the informed dog in the country? He probably is at the moment. He's absolutely flying. And guys, I know we don't want to go off on a tangent, but unfortunately the Phoenix field has been shallowed out a bit. I mean, if he runs very well here in the Melbourne Cup, does he get a Phoenix berth? I think he's got to be in the conversation.
Well,
have to be.
If you flavour of the month, he always looked upon greatly, so he'd have to be in the mix.
When do you start to trust him at the start? He's done enough, hasn't he, now?
Well, he broke a
It's
sectional
been-
record.
It's been 2 starts.
Yeah.
And in fairness, there have been starts where he has gone 5-0s earlier in his
Yes.
career. It's just been sort of a bit black
It hasn't
and white.
come out of nowhere. It's
No.
just the consistency
No.
of which in back-to-back runs it has.
The only issue I have with the box draw is that the 4 has got a lot of speed and it does look towards the fence, Sprightly Cyan. Now, is she a winning chance, Sprightly Cyan? Many would say no, but she has got a big say in this race.
We'll talk about her. She's $31 here, Jace. Any chance at all?
It'd be a shock.
Yeah.
I mean, $31 is a big price for a greyhound like her that has a lot of speed. From an overall time point of view, she cannot run the numbers of which some of these other greyhounds can. So she's relying on luck. I don't think you could look at this race from a pure fact and numbers point of view and think she's a big hope. So, yeah, as much as she can throw a spanner in the works, she's unlikely to be a big winning chance.
It would be David Gill's almost biggest success. I mean, My Redeemer and Co-Blends were high in the market, like they were given big chances. But if he were to win with Sprightly Siam, he would have the Midas touch for sure.
Could be a big night for Kayla Cottrell. She'll join us straight after this break because she's got 2 runners in the Group 1s on Saturday night, including a greyhound that everybody wants to tip me, Dashing Sleigh, in the Melbourne Cup. She's had some.
Georgie, this message.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Great to have your company on this Wednesday morning. Always great to have Georgie Ferrugia and Jason Adams with me for the weekly chase. But what about this young lady, Kayla Cottrell? She's in for a big night on Saturday night. She could win 2 Group 1s, the Bold Trees with Fade to Black, who's drawn box number 3. And, of course, Dashing Slay, that was so impressive in a Melbourne Cup heat, is the fourth favourite for the Melbourne Cup at around 480 with Bet365. And Kayla's been good enough to join us here on Giddy Up. Good morning, Kayla.
Good morning, Gareth. Thanks for having me on.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It just feels like a normal week at the moment, Gareth, but I think once it hits to Saturday, I think it'll all kick in. But, yeah, just at the moment, just a normal week doing the dogs.
Kayla, congratulations on getting Dashing Slay through to the final. Not that she's ever been out of form at any stage in her career, but do you feel like she's starting to give you those launching pad type vibes, the way she's racing at the moment? I thought her runs in the Laurels were absolutely fantastic, and her win last week just gave me that sense that she's back to just about her best.
Yeah, this campaign, she's obviously firing like she was come launching pad time. And, yeah, I can't fault her at the moment. She's just so mature for a young bitch, George. And, yeah, can't fault her. She's ticking all the boxes, and she's just a bitch that's got the will to win. And, you know, it's hard to find that in a greyhound, and especially a young Fernando Bale bitch. So, yeah, really looking forward to this weekend, and hopefully she can just repeat the performances she has been doing of late.
Carla, she'll jump from box 5 in the Cup on Saturday night. Now, generally, most people would be sickened by coming up with box 5 in a field like this, but knowing the way she races, I sense you're probably not awfully disappointed coming up with a yellow.
No, not disappointed. Look, don't get me wrong. When I did pick up box 5, I thought that would be my luck, but what's drawn around her, I'm pretty happy with. I really wanted her outside of the speed. I didn't want her underneath it, and she just needs that room to move. And box 5, she just overcome it last week, so she's obviously got no problems with that. But it's just the first 50 metres it's obviously going to tell the story, and she just needs that clean run. And she's a bitch that can get checked and get under pressure, and it does not worry her. She just pins her ears back and keeps going. So she's very determined, and, yeah, just hoping for a clear run, but we've made it this far. Whatever happens, happens. It's, yeah, just hopefully going with a bit of luck. That's all we need.
Kayla, we've spoken probably all week about how it's a fairly open Melbourne Cup final. We asked Jessica Hopkins the same question, and her answer was your dog to this next question. But is there one dog that you're particularly scared of in the final?
There's 7 other good dogs, but my main focus is her. You got to have the mentality and the confidence going into these races, George. You can't be thinking of the rest of the dogs in the field. We've got a job to do, and those 7 dogs, they're very good animals. And look, they've all got the right to win and all got the will to win, but it's just whoever gets the luck on the night. But yeah, I'm not too scared of other dogs. I know what bitch I've got underneath me. She's just got to put her best foot forward and get the job done.
Well, you're home, Kayla. I reckon you're the one to beat. Have you started to dream what it would be like to win a Melbourne Cup?
There's always dreams.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think it's sunk in yet. I'm just treating it as a normal week, but we've never had one in the Melbourne Cup, so feeling very humbled and very privileged. This is what the early mornings and the late nights are for, Gareth. This is all the hard work we put in, and people don't see behind the scenes. You know, we don't get much sleep. Our main priority is these greyhounds. They get looked after better than ourselves. So, yeah, hard work's paying off, so I just love to see it.
Kayla, you're in your early 20s and you've got some great support behind you and your mum and dad. Have they said much since the big win in the heat on Saturday?
No, not too much. Mother was very excited, but the old boy, he don't say too much. He's pretty cool, calm and collected. He might say it to Mum, but he don't say it to me. He's just that father figure that, yeah, just sort of keeps to himself, and he knows we've got a job to do, but I wouldn't be in these races without my mother and father, and my brother too that helps me as a race dog's Brad. So just, yeah, so humbled and privileged to have a backbone like them and the support and the guidance. I'm very, very lucky.
And Kayla, of course, you've got a finalist in the other Group 1 final in Fade to Black. And Jason and I were speaking off air about how impressive he was in the Top Gun. I thought his run was full of merit, and he's come out last week and there was a muddling field, and I thought he just took the bull by the horns and said, this race is mine. You were interviewed on racing.com before it and said, look, he's second up, we'll see how he goes. And he handled himself beautifully. I mean, how's he pulled up from the run? I mean, he's up against two pretty terrific stayers, but you'd go in with a bit of a chance.
He's pulled up super. Like, he obviously wasn't entitled to get a run in the Top Gun stayers. He did Fluke as a reserve a run and got the red, which you can't knock back. We're happy with. And he went super. He ran fourth. He wasn't entitled to run fourth. He had a lot of knockers. And, yeah, he ran 42.60s himself, which is good enough to win a 700-metre race at the Meadows. Yeah. And then he was second up going into that special event, which we wanted to put him in just to get some more miles under his legs because he hasn't been a seasoned stayer. He hasn't had the proper campaign with niggles and injuries along the way. So I wasn't disappointed in the special event run before the Bold Trees because he was bound to get tired second up as they do. And, yeah, like I said, going to the boxes, I think you'll see a different dog, and he did. He showed a different side, not being on the bunny and hoping he had some fuel left in the tank. He really looked like starting to become a seasoned stayer. He sort of come from behind off the pace and worked his way into it. So, yeah, fingers crossed he's just putting it all together, and now he's had those 3 runs under his belt. It can, yeah, hopefully get him over the line in the final, but I'm sure he'll put in a good race.
Hey, Kayla, we're often talking about what sort of connection that the public has with racing, and in our case, greyhound racing. You're not long out of school and you're a part of a footy club as well, community sport. Do you have in your social circles, do they understand the magnitude of what you're achieving at the moment? Do you sense much connection from them to racing and what you're going through at the moment?
I do. The footy club I'm associated with is Casey Thunder, and they're all around it. All the girls there have got the dogs in the black books, and sometimes, you know, when they don't get a winner, I think maybe I shouldn't show up to footy training. But they all want to get in a dog. They want to call the dog Casey Thunder, and yeah, a few of my mates they follow. So yeah, I've got a pretty good association behind me following the greyhounds, and they love it just as much as I do, which is good for the sport. The more people we can get involved, the better.
Well, Kayla, you go and live that dream on Saturday night. Go and win 2 big Group 1s.
I'll be trying. Thank you.
There you go. Well done. Good luck, Kayla. Kayla Cottrell there.
It's a great interview.
It is. She speaks
she's
so
very
well.
spoken.
Can she win the Melbourne Cup?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely, she can.
How does she do it?
Well, I just think the 4, as I said, wants to shift in a little bit. And if she can avoid the 6 and 7, which is a concern, but I think they've all got some sort of pros and cons. I agree with her. I wouldn't be scared of any other dog because you know what you've got. I mean, she's broken 29 seconds there, Gareth. Yeah. She's an incredibly fast dog.
Yeah, she's got to avoid poor Zuri in box 6 because she wants to get to the inside. So what Dashing Slay has up her sleeve, Gareth, is that there's a few dogs in this race where if they're out of the race in the first 100 metres, they are out of the race, where she's probably not. Yeah. She's got a big ticker. She's got probably the best run home in the whole field. So she's a weapon. I don't know where she sits early, and I'm not going to be tipping her. But she's a sleeping giant.
She
for
might
sure.
just miss the kick slightly, then go back to the fence, 3 back the fence, and do what who was the dog a couple of years ago that did that wearing the 5 rug on the Melbourne Cup?
Oh, Yarchi Bale.
Yeah, Yarchi Bale.
Yeah, he came right around them. And she races similar in the sense that she wants to use a little bit of the track.
Yeah.
But he was a huge Melbourne Cup winner, Yarchi Bale. And, of course...
No, it wasn't Yarchi Bale. It was...
Aussie Rocks?
Aussie Rocks.
Aussie Rocks,
yes,
yeah.
Aussie Rock was 3 back the fence.
Sorry, I thought you said box 4. Sorry, box 5.
5.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and wrap up the weekly chase on this Wednesday morning.
Melbourne Racing Club's Black Friday sale on now. Take 50% off young and full memberships.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Quick run home here. We've got some big breaking news that will break before the show finishes. But first of all, Paul Zuri, can it win, Georgie?
Well, anything can happen in these races. Got a lot of early speed. Gareth can run around the 29.2s, but it's going to need a little bit of luck, especially with Intrepidus drawn next to it.
Intrepidus, Jason, box 7.
He can win. I'll be tipping him at $10. So he's got a stack of speed, outrageous turn of foot, which I think is the best in the field. Paul Zuri in 6 would go to the rail. Dacey's Rory in 8's not going to begin that well, so I'll be tipping Intrepidus.
Now, we should be getting 20-1 because everything we say about box 8s in Melbourne Cups. But I'm tipping Dacey's Rory, the Queenslander. He's always underrated, this bloke. I reckon there'll be a mayhem into the first turn. He'll get the fly and away he goes,
I tell you what, it'll be hell of a party with Tom Savalas.
Yes.
Good drinker, Tom.
Good man, Tommy.
Good bloke, top bloke.
Queenslander,
Queensland have
Tommy.
won everything this year, so why not the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah,
right?
they should. I'm with Dacey's Rory, Georgie.
I'm dashing Sleigh.
Okay. Jason.
Intrepidus.
Who wins the Bold Trees?
I'm sticking with Without a Trace. I'm not going to jump off because she got beaten by Aiden's Warrior. I think she can turn the tables again, Jace.
Yeah, I'm too heavily in her camp for months, so now's not the time to jump off.
Big breaking news. We've got a new slot high. We've got a dog that's been given the green light to go to the Phoenix and to represent Sportsbet, Georgie.
Yes, accredited for Ned McDonald will represent Sportsbet in the Phoenix on December the 13th. So win, lose or draw in the Melbourne Cup, he will go for $1 million on December 3rd.
Does that surprise you?
Not the way his last couple of runs have been, but box draw is going to be very important for him. Yeah,
Jace?
Yeah, it surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
I really feel he wouldn't have been a dog that everyone's jumping over themselves to choose. So if I was them, I maybe would have waited for Saturday night, but they've pulled the trigger and all the best.
The Blue Army know how to win a Phoenix with She's Fast.
And Cumbria Jack trialling tomorrow. Jace mentioned to me off air at the Meadows. This will be interesting because there's been some injury concerns leading up to the Top Gun. So Ariza Sparkles and Cumbria Jack are now accredited the only
They've
3.
got to sort it out, but that Cumbria Jack trial should be on Sky Racing 2 after race 3 tomorrow night.
That'd be great.
Hi, Gareth. I'm very interested in greyhound ownership, but I can't seem to find much info online about where to buy shares. So can you ask the boys for a bit of insight into this, please?
Yeah, this is where I think we need to improve as an industry, and GRV is included in that. I don't think there's enough for people, if they don't have the contacts to get involved in greyhound racing, and hopefully that changes in the new year.
Let's do more on that next week.
Yeah. We just need a website and go, all right, then let's buy shares.
Do you want 2 for tonight, Gareth?
Yes, please.
Kako Magic, we tipped last week. He'll win again. Race 8, number 6. He's only $1.70, but I heard that what was the New Zealand punter who's on fire every time we're on air here.
Yeah.
Liked one in the last, Miriam or something.
Yeah.
We're going to throw it in a double there. And race 12, number 7, Aston Guitar for Paula Bella, I think would be hard to beat.
This consolation to the Melbourne Cup's going to be far better than the Melbourne Cup, Georgie.
What have we got in it? We got a few absolute stars.
Do we know who's in it yet, Jace?
Well, the fields aren't drawn, but there's 20 noms, and just going through some of the names. Mally Beauty, Zipper on Time, Zelda Kabila, Tribeca, Scalacci, Sharapova Star, Deadly Avenger, Whiskey Whiskers, Smooth Plane. I mean, it's stacked. So that field
It's
will
like
be
the seniors playing before the reserves playing before the seniors. You got to go for both weeks, Georgie.
Hey, they deserve it. The ones that are in.
You go and live that dream and win that Melbourne Cup.
Thank you, mate.
Along with everybody else, we wish everybody the best of luck.
Yes, we do.
In the Melbourne Cup.
Do it for Malta, Georgie.
Yeah. Racing.com coverage has been superb. It'll be on Saturday night once again. Yeah,
Thank you.
Do it for Malta. Thanks, boys.
See you, mate.
That is
Thanks,
Giddy
mate.
Up. Don't go anywhere on SEN Track. Of course, we've got Facing the Breeze.
I'm Amy Drew with SEN News. A fifth person's been charged linked to allegations of suspicious gambling at the Brownlows in 2021 and 22. A 34-year-old man from Melbourne is facing 21 wagering offences and will appear in court next month. 4 other men charged will also face court in the coming weeks.